Hello, my biddies. How are you? I'm okay. The weather's beautiful. It's getting a little cloudy now, but it's been beautiful all morning. Um, got everything I needed to accomplished, so that's a bonus. That hardly ever happens. So, how is everyone? Say hi in the chat. Say hi. Need to know you're here. Um, so nothing to report. Um, I have nothing to report today. My life is boring. I'm going to go grocery shopping. I don't have to go to Walmart, so I'm happy about that. I mean, I do, but I don't. Well, my husband went last night and got what I needed. So I can go to Aldi today, just Aldi, and not have to go to Walmart, which is glorious. Then I'll just get a few things to eat, and then we have lots of leftovers right now because I made a decent meal last night. Um, and then I will go to probably Costco, maybe, and or Sam's Club on Friday, but I won't be here, so I'll have all day to do that. And then Friday evening, kids will get here late with my husband because he has to go pick them up in another city. It's about half an hour away. His job is also half an hour away, so it'll take him like an hour and a half to get home. And then Saturday, the oldest one, WB, has a banquet for his wrestling banquet. So that'll be nice. He's also got a test at karate on Thursday, but I probably won't make that. Not this time. I like his aunt and uncle fine. The rest of the family, I don't really care for that much. They seem okay, except that apparently his uncle makes a lot of promises that are not kept, and WB doesn't like that. So therefore, he is not liking wrestling, bowling. I saw a bunch of. I looked up a bunch of bowling stuff yesterday. Seems they don't have the same league they had when my kids were little. My friends and I would go bowling once a week on a league. We were terrible bowlers. We never won anything. I think I might have gotten most improved once. I took lessons and everything. It was bad. But they had a daycare at the bowling alley. They had a room filled with toys. You take your kids and stick them in the room for the length of time that you were bowling, and it gave me and my friends an extra day a week to, talk with adults because we were all stay-at-home moms. To talk with adults once a week without the kids bothering us too much. Kids had fun. They all liked it. They still talk about it. My youngest doesn't because I think he was still too young to really remember when we quit. When my friend moved away, and the other one, the kids, older kids started school. So all that jazz, all that fun jazz. So yeah, that was what we was doing. So I was looking up to see if they still had that. They changed the name of the bowling alley. I guess they didn't change the name of the bowling alley itself, but they changed the name of the facility it's in. So it's now Spins. It's weird. It sounds like a workout place. Spins. All right. Well, we have our reality roundup. I'm doing really good on the reality roundup so far this week. We'll see if tomorrow holds. See if I get home in time to do today's notes because I did watch it already. So um, it's not great. Failing out loud, not great. So, reality roundup is the Seven Little Johnsons, season 17, episode 10, 10 out of 10 wedding. I tend to disagree. It was kind of an 8 out of 10 wedding, maybe 7. So we open and the lawn is a muddy mess. It is terrible. Oh my goodness. It's just brown ruts everywhere. I don't know why you would plan a wedding in this spot at all. Trent has already pulled several cars out of the mud and it's been raining off and on for hours. Liz is at her house. I think she's at her own house with her mom and all the bridesmaids getting ready for the wedding. Liz says the brown mud is going to match her color scheme. So at least she has a positive. She seemed to be trying to have a positive outlook. Liz says, and this is disturbing. Just seeing the look on my mom's face, I could see the stress on her face, and I was trying to stay calm for mom. And I was looking at mom and like, mom, it's going to be fine. So it makes me so sad for Liz because she shouldn't be the one giving support at this time. Her mother should be the one shouldering the burden for her daughter. It's so backward, and it shows how bad the dynamics in this family are. The mom should be freaking out. The mom should be a steady pole that the daughter can lean on because it's her wedding that's getting ruined by the rain, not the mom's. The guys go to dig up the booze bottle they buried 3 months before. The ritual failed because but the rain has stopped for the time being. The rain was supposed to stay away completely with the burying of the booze bottle. Then we quickly go back to Liz getting ready, and she says she got into nursing school. I thought she already did nursing school. She kept claiming she was in nursing school, guys. I'm so confused. Then she says Bryce got happy on Halloween, and she thinks she might be pregnant. Like, girl, are you not on birth control? Like, seriously. Are you not having relations with your husband on a regular basis? What is this? She should take a test before she starts celebrating the wedding, in my opinion. They don't show her drinking, but who knows? The boys finally find the bottle and they decide to sample it, and it's not good. Jonah says he's getting better bourbon for his wedding. When is that, Jonah? You've been together quite a while now. Liz gives Trent props for all his work, and he worked really hard. I gotta admit that. I mean, he nearly had a heart attack, for Pete's sake. Amber's on the talking couch and mentions Leighton, and they show her sleeping on a bouncy seat. She's 2. These things are recommended for babies under 6 months old because they tend to roll out of them. Why is she still in it as a full-grown 2-year-old? She needs to be in a bed, in a crib. In a crib or in a bed. So some 2-year-olds just don't take to cribs. My WB did not do cribs at all. Never did. We had to for a while he was sleeping on a mattress on the floor because he would just not get in the crib. And his doctor said some kids are just like that. They are not crib kids. They don't like it. They will not sleep in a crib. You have to make adjustments. So as long as the doctor is okay with it, I'm okay with it. How about you? I know that you can get in trouble for having your kids have their mattress on the floor. Especially, that might only be for foster kids, but people have gotten in trouble for that. Because you have to have a bed, especially if you're a foster kid. It's the least you parents can do. Amber's dress is white on top and champagne brown on the bottom, and I find this wildly inappropriate. I was worried that my dress was too light for my daughter's wedding. It was a light pink dress, and I thought it was verging on too white. She was fine with it. But why would you choose to wear any kind of white to your kid's wedding? It's weird. They did the first look on the sidewalk in front of the house, and she comes up to Bryce and says, "Hey, buddy." So weird. Like, I think he loves her. I really do. I'm not so sure that she loves him, to be honest. She wants him around. She wants the look of it, just like she wanted the look of her wedding to be a certain way. So she wants the look of a family, but I don't think she's in love with Bryce, to be honest. She doesn't treat him like she's in love with him. Uh, I absolutely hate the bridesmaids' wedding dress color. The dresses are all different styles, but they're all very similar, so that's fine. Although the two little people have a weird seam in theirs, I'm assuming it was probably from um, alterations because I don't think those dresses are supposed to have seams at all. Um, the other little person, I can't remember which one wore which, didn't have a seam in hers, but she had slits up the side, so maybe that's why. Um, they're look like they were made to be artsy. They're like off. They're like not at the waist. They're lower than the waist. It goes right across their butt, and it looks bad. It looks bad to me. It looks very poorly altered. I think I get what they were going for, but it didn't work. Um, one of the I didn't recognize one of the bridesmaids, and I believe it was Bryce's sister-in-law. Weirdly, Bryce has his father as his best man. He has a twin brother. Like, what are we doing here? They take all the photos pre-wedding, which is probably a good idea because we'll get to that. Trent gets stung on his tongue. How does that even happen? Oh, it was the bourbon. The wasp was in the bourbon. I'm probably a wasp, not a bee. Judging by the last time I got stung by a hornet, my tongue would have swollen up to the point where I couldn't talk or eat. I got stung like right here on my hand. My whole hand down to about here was swelled for 3 days, like twice its size. It didn't hurt or anything after the initial sting, but it looked bad. And I was working. I was doing a physical job at the time. Physical labor lifting 50-pound totes full of books and magazines. Yeah, but it didn't hurt me at all. It just looked terrible. Um, the wedding coordinator is happy with the setup. Oh, and Liz's hair. Liz's hair is nothing special. It's just her usual ponytail with a few trendrils kept out. She has really long hair. She could have done something really pretty with it. But no, we just got to do ponytail. Then the ceremony. They do the normal promise vows first, even before the presenting to be wed thing, which I find weird to me because usually that's the first thing you do is the father presents or gives away the bride. Of course, nowadays we don't give away brides because women are not owned by people. Present is a good way to put it. Then they do their reading vows to each other, and then there are some tears, mostly from Bryce. Like I said, Bryce is the one in love in this situation. Bryce's mother, they show her briefly. Her dress is beautiful despite the drab color. Even the mothers were wearing the really nasty looking brown. Why would you choose brown for your wedding? It's so ick. Then they do their ring vows, and it's all in all, it's a pretty normal ceremony, and the sun was out, so that was good. After the ceremony, Bryce sneaks off to put on his camel tux, his camel vest. Go, Bryce. He says he called up the tuck shop and told them to put the camel vest in the bag because he was going to have it no matter what. Alex recognizes that Liz is pissed about the vest. She was definitely not happy. I still think the vest was very nice. It would have been fine if I was marrying some guy who hunted and fished like Bryce likes to do. I would have been fine with it, to be honest. Even as my younger self insisted on tails, a tux with tails, and I had a hoop skirt. So it was fairy tale. It was very fairy tale, and I loved it. It was great. And I'm not a girly girl, so that saying that I had a hoop skirt and my husband had tails at the wedding is like bride fantasy, but I'm not that girly most of the time. I don't even wear dresses. The last dress I wore was to my daughter's wedding, and that was over 2 years ago. The one before that, I didn't even wear a dress to my son's wedding. I wore a jumpsuit. Bryce's lid smiled when he saw it. Oh, Bryce, honey, that is not a smile. That is pure exasperation, and she admits as much. She does warm up to the tux later and says that it did kind of amp up the crowd a little bit. So, why all this fuss, Liz? They do the usual bridal party entering thing, but instead of having each pair of attendants together, the guys and the girls came separately. Um, they do the first dance, and you can see the bottom of Liz's dress is completely ruined by the mud. So that's why it was a good thing that they did the pictures first because her mud dress got ruined, completely ruined. Then Bryce does a sweet dance with Leighton, which I thought was really nice. Liz's grandfather said the dance reminded him of when he married Amber's mother and that he fell in love with Amber and Lori. So Bryce, Amber's stepdad that literally raised her, was there. They did the dumb garter thing with the fishing pole. Em and Alex did not think this was the best idea. And it didn't come off correctly. I think he could have put it on in a different way that it would have been better, but she had to help him. Alex has a joke in the family is that he's next, and Allie says she's already planning for the wedding. Girl, graduate high school first, preferably college as well. You still got education to go, girl. Don't even start. Don't even think about a wedding. I didn't think about a wedding at all until we were engaged, and that was after we graduated from college. Trying to think. Actually, it was after my husband was done with his classes for his master's degree. He still had his research paper to do, and they wanted him. The whole department wanted him to get a doctorate. They wanted him to do a dissertation. He's like, no, I do not have the patience to do that. I'm already 27 years old by that point. No, I'm not doing that. And he didn't know for years that he was the first person to graduate with his master's degree at that school. He's like, I was the first one? What? Since when? Joni says he and Ashley want to finish school and get some things knocked out. Before they start planning a wedding. Sensible. Who knew Jonah was the sensible one? It's probably Ashley, actually. Madison's boyfriend Caleb caught the garter, and Liz's aunt Heidi caught the bouquet. Madison was the maid of honor, Liz's best friend, Liz's BFF. And that's okay. Emma didn't want to be the maid of honor, so that's okay. Then Bryce dances with his mom, and afterwards they do the father-daughter dance. Brett, Bryce's twin brother, was breakdancing very well. I didn't even know kids still did that. They also had a last dance, which I found kind of nice. That was very sweet. It's a nice. Okay, I did look up their wedding stuff. That's how I determined who the extra bridesmaid was. And that Bryce's dad was the best man, which I still find weird. Why is Bryce's dad the best man? They started at 3 and they were over by 8:30. I have never seen that in my life. A wedding reception be over by 8:30. That's insanity. That's insanity. Like, you go till at least 10, girl. They are not night people. Really. It's super early to be done with everything, especially when it's on your own property. You can go as late as you want. On the talk, they talk about the next year, and Liz says something about another baby, and several people go, what? And then Liz and Bryce drive off into the dark. They couldn't drive off into the sunset. It was already dark. So that is that for this season. Thank goodness. because that has been terrible for me. Next season, we will not get behind on things. I'm determined to not get behind on things. All right, next we have Am I Overreacting? And is entitled AIO for putting a bag before a friendship. And we have a picture of a bag. I don't know why. Picture of the bag. It's a Louis Vuitton, apparently. That looks like maybe an actual bag. I don't know. I don't know that much about that stuff, to be honest. I couldn't spot a fake if I tried. Chase. Oh, sorry, Clara. Clara, 35 female, and I, 33 female, have been best friends for roughly 9 years. She supported me through a major breakup, and I supported her through financial issues, and we have basically been a pillar in one another's lives for quite some time. Needless to say, there was a lot of trust there. Back in my 20s, I bought myself a Louis Vuitton bag as a celebration for graduating in college. I'd use this bag whenever I felt a need a confidence boost because it made me feel like I could handle university. I could handle anything. I don't know why. It's just how my mind works, I guess, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If that bag gives you a boost of confidence, saying, "Yeah, I did that, and I can take on the world now," go, girl. Well, this bag got quite a bit of wear and tear over the years, although I'd prefer to say it was well loved. And Clara offered to get it refurbished for me while she was on holiday in Paris. I was apprehensive, but she insisted that it was a gift for helping her get her back on her feet. She took the bag with her to Paris, and I thought little of it until I got a job interview and needed my little confidence boost, complete with my outfit. That's when I realized that Clara got back from Paris in July. I still didn't have the bag. That's not cool. I called her up to ask where it was, thinking she'd probably forgotten about it. I mean, I had too. And she said it must be in her closet and that she'd dig it out. The interview wasn't for a week, so I wasn't worried. Then I heard nothing back from her. No random TikToks in my DMs. No questioning whether game night was to go ahead that weekend. Nothing. After 4 days, I called her again. She said she'd be over that evening with the bag. Claire showed up and she handed me a Louis Vuitton box and said she had to go. Very unlike her since we'd catch up. Usually we catch up a bit. As I was getting ready for my interview, I opened the box, pulled the bag out of the dusty thing, and noticed something was off. The leather felt a little bit too raised, and the stitching seemed a little bit too bright. I didn't have time to think about it just then, but I couldn't stop thinking about it the way it didn't feel the same. So when I got home, I inspected it closely. The zips are scratching some of the inner stitching is loose, and the heat stamp has no numbering on it as it does in the authentic pieces. This bag is fake. Let's see. We can go back and find that. I don't really see a number anywhere. I don't know what she's talking about there. I called Claire and asked her what happened to my bag, and she stammered and said she has no idea what I mean. She said she's outraged that the store did a bad job refurbishing and that she's going to call them to complain. I'm sorry, what? This bag isn't even real. I called her out and I told her I didn't have the real bag at the end of the weekend. She'd be gone from my life. The deadline was 3 days ago, and Claire has been a ghost in the wind for almost a week. She knows what she did. She knew what she did when she asked for the bag back. She didn't have the bag. A couple of our mutuals say I should keep the piece. Nope. No, not at all. That's a theft. While some others are outraged that she would essentially steal something sentimental, especially since that meant a lot to you, and she probably knew that. I couldn't help feeling guilty because she's been here through thick and thin. So AIO before putting a bag before friendship. You're not putting a bag before a friendship. You're putting theft before friendship. Oh, the images are for the fake bag. Okay. So Tarara Boomdie says it sounds more like Claire is the one putting a bag before friendship. Puzzlehead Cod answers Nor. Clara is not the person you thought she was. She literally stole from you. And not only did she steal, but she stole something that was very sentimental to you. Grieve the loss of the friend you thought she was and move on. You may have been a friend at the time, but that time has passed. Now she's a liar and a thief, and I wish you all the best. Some of those bags are very, very, very expensive, like in the thousands of dollars. Small claims court. This is a small claims court. She'll have to at least give you the money back so you can buy a new one. Oh, and I would be suspicious of any of your friends that want you to forgive her. No true friend would think stealing from someone you trust is acceptable. I think you can take out the who trusted you, and I think stealing from someone is unacceptable. If they do it, maybe because they are bad people as well. Strange Ear says it was a schemed out steal too, like using the trip as an excuse to end everything. I agree. Someone speculates that it was stolen from her in Paris and she didn't know how to tell the OP, but you don't scam people like that. Junior Coxey says, dude, weighing her. It's not throwing out a friendship of 9 years over a bag. It's being deceived by someone that has earned my trust over the years, feeling violated, and took something of mine they knew was sentimental to me. A friend would be open and honest about whatever happened. OP says, you know what? You're right. I'm feeling guilty. Why am I feeling guilty for her actions? A4 Baby says, exactly. F her. She's not a real friend. First Teller says, yeah, F Clara. Accidentally says, all the homies hate Clara. Clara's getting it in the comments. Competitive Bell says, nor at all. I would take this to the authorities if I were you. She's entitled as F and thinks you're dumb and that's not your friend. OP says, I've been pondering that. But I don't think the local police would do anything over petty theft. She says she doesn't have the receipts. That's something you should keep the receipts for. Somebody says, expensive stuff you always keep receipts for. Take a picture, if nothing else. This is an update in TIFU. TIFU is think I wanged up. TIFU update to AIO for putting a bag before friendship. It's been a couple of weeks since the deadline. I sent to Clara to return the bag and didn't talk that entire time till one of our mutual friends advised me to keep the peace, invited me to a brunch yesterday. When I arrived at the cafe, the mutual said that Clara was on her way and we needed to talk. After hearing some of you guys say there might be an actual explanation other than theft, I thought I owed it to her friendship, which is fine. Here's what actually happened. Claire took the bag to official Louis Vuitton store when she was in Paris, but given the fact that she would be in the country for long, she arranged to have it delivered to her house when it was restored. She showed me the tracking information and arrived hers in March. When it arrived, she left the bag in its box in her hallway so she'd remember to bring it to me the next time she saw me. Within the week of the bag arriving, Clara's sister, will call her Lola, went to Claire's to borrow a dress for an event. Clara had to go out when Lola was trying the dress on, and trusting her sister, she left. When Clara got home, the Louis Vuitton box was gone along with the bag. So Clara's sister's the thief. She called Lola repeatedly and got no answer. She messaged her relentlessly to no avail. Clara was panicking. Eventually, Clara went to their mother and told her what was going on, and they then called Lola to tell her to give the bag back. A few days later, a beaten up Louis Vuitton box was on Clara's doorstep. When I asked about the bag, Clara didn't want to go into detail with the whole ordeal because she was embarrassed. She has nothing to be embarrassed about. It's not her fault her sister's a bitch. She took the bag, which was still a dust bag, out of the box and gave that to me. When I called her about the bag being fake, she genuinely had no idea what I was talking about. At the time, she said she'd called the store to find out what happened, but she really messaged Lola demanding to know where the real bag was. Lola responded, you wanted a bag, I got you a bag, and then blocked her and everything. Lola needs to go to jail. Clara was in pieces, panicking, thinking she destroyed our friendship. She should have just been honest. Say, listen, my sister took it. She was supposed to give it back. I thought she'd given it back. I didn't know it was fake. I'm sorry. Lola needs to go. Our mutual friends showed me Lola's Instagram where she's holding my bag in some of the images. Clara was in tears and I cried with her because I realized that I was overreacting the whole time. You were not. You were not, though. You were going with what you thought happened. If Clara had been honest with you, the whole thing would have been fine, or at least better than it is now. And then I'd automatically assume the worst. I don't know what else you could assume. She wasn't being honest with you. As a standard, we reported the bag stolen and provided as evidence against Lola. Claire's parents aren't happy, but they understand Claire has tried for months to sort this out and that Lola needs to understand that her actions have consequences. I begged Claire to forgive me for how I handled it, and she laughed, saying she was about to beg me for forgiveness for not telling me what was going on the whole time. See, you're fine. You're fine. That's just how this should end. So I don't have the bag back, but I do have my friendship. You can jump to conclusions when people are not being honest with you. OP says the way I'm choosing to look at it, I still have my friendship. Thankfully, Clara fully understands how I reacted. Separate Eye says friendships are far more important than purses, but theft is not. Lofty Chicago says she should have been forthcoming and explained the situation immediately. Exactly. Forsaken Cancel says really sad situation, especially for her, but both her reaction and your reaction were completely normal. I don't think so. I think if my sister had stolen my friend's bag, I would tell my friend, my sister stole your bag. I'm trying to get it back. If we have to, we'll go to the police. You probably sensed that something was off about the whole encounter because you love her and know her so well, so you could tell she was acting strangely. I would have been upset too. She likely panicked and didn't want to betray her sister. It also sounds like her parents may enable her sister, so she may have been worried that they'd be angry for her snitching if she told you right away. I don't think so. That does not sound like the mom to me. Mom went right away to the sister and said, "Give the bag back." Why can't you break into the sister's house and go get it? So I would too. And honestly, I'd also be frustrated if I felt like my friend was lying to me about something that was both expensive and deeply meaningful to me. You may have jumped a little quickly to the assumption she stole it. My first thought would have been, could the bag restoration people have done something? That was my first thought. That was the thought I had too at some point. Oh, you'd probably still be suspicious too. But I don't know your friend or her usual behavior, so take that with a grain of salt. She shouldn't have ghosted her. That looks suspicious. My hair is all up in the back. My cowlick is doing overtime today. I don't look at myself in the mirror most of the time because I can't. OCD about the hair. Not really. I know it's not really. Um, my first thought is might have been, could the bag restoration people have done something? You didn't mess up. It was just a painful, messy situation for both of you. Most importantly, be grateful that friendship you truly valued, a person you loved, didn't end because of this. You don't have to live with fear, wondering whether she was been deceiving you the whole time. I think you and Clara and your other friends who set up the meeting for you too sound like good people and good friends. Wishing you the bag back. The reason we don't follow this only has 300 upvotes on Reddit. If it gets popular enough, we'll add it. Uh, Eddie Fick says, I'm glad Lola reported it to the police. She seems to be a bitch. I'm glad Lola was reported to the police. She seems to be a bitch. OP says her audacity far outweighs her likability. I hope there's another update for this sometime. Lofty Chicago says, why would you beg for forgiveness? The only one who handled this poorly was Clara. You should have made the police report immediately. This is ridiculous. Sheridan Safira says, literally, I'm late to the post at the end of the day. You were overreacting. You reacted appropriately with the information you had at the time, and then did the same later when you heard the true story. Begging forgiveness was not necessary. I agree. So there you have the story of the bag. Okay, that's our last update is the story we just read. Next, we have entitled people entitled, I'm on the phone, quotes. My husband and I were in the lobby of a doctor's office after finishing up an appointment yesterday. Talk, taking to two nurses. I think it's talking to two nurses on what to do next and if we need to make another appointment or if they would call us. There's one other person in the waiting room sitting in a chair with his back to us in his 40s, I guess. Right in the middle of us talking to the nurses, he turns around and screams, I'm on the phone. Okay. Well, I'm not sure how that affects me, sir. Both nurses, my husband, and myself just stand there looking absolutely shocked for a few seconds, and I loudly yell back, well, excuse you then. He turns back around, muttering in his phone about how he can't hear because of inconsiderate people standing around talking. My husband and I leave, but I hear the parting shot of loudly, well, I guess I finally have an anecdote to put on entitled people on Reddit. She said that. The guy just stared at me all shocked and thought he was the and thought that I thought that he was the in shocked that I thought he was the entitled person. Don't mind me, I'm not really here, says, yeah, we know it's mega rude, so take it outside or to your car. I don't play with rude, dumb people. You can't win against them, so being direct is all I got left. Schadenfreude says, oh, I like that. Schadenfreude is good. Schadenfreude. The smoking and cell phone areas in the back is out the door to the left, 20 feet from the open window or door. Used clock says, or if you live in certain cities in Canada, it's 9 meters, vaping included. Tie Edge says, how far is that in miles? Guilty Comb says, no one knows. No one knows how far that is in miles. No one can figure that out. I'm not figuring it out. It's not a mile. Otherwise, pick is the second top rated comment, and they say, I would gladly told him his phone is mobile and not plugged into the wall so he could get up and move. Plantron says, honestly, I'd have just told him to wang off. Claris Calgurus Rex says, excuse me, we're conducting business here so you can eat the brownest part of my butt. Police Queen says, I will be making a mental note to use this in the future. Grummelhide is the third top rated comment, and they say he couldn't leave the waiting room to finish his call. Why should his call, this particular instance, affect your conversation with the nurses in the doctor's office? I think I would have said, you're free to take your call outside. Yes. Like, we are conducting business here. You're on a private phone call. Who takes precedence in a place of business? The people doing business. Murdered by words. Oh, Mindy Kaling lost a lot of weight. Mindy Kaling shares the reason behind her scrutinized weight loss journey. Benzo Kazooie says taking Ozempic a weight loss journey is like bragging that you did 5K in your car. That's kind of rude. I don't like that one. Rock the Bloat says, was she bragging? Sounded like she was talking about how other people talk about and react to her losing weight. The fact that she used Ozempic is relevant to that. Iggy's Pop says, we are now in the area where we shame people out being honest. In the past, if someone used a pharmaceutical to lose weight, build muscle, get in shape, they'd act like it was just clean living. At least people are being honest now. Living Jesus says, a lot of Hollywood still uses substances, but they would never admit it on camera as it can only damage their reputation also because they earn a lot of child-friendly franchises. I mean, nobody tell me The Rock, Chris Hemsworth, or Christian Bale had extreme body changes through completely natural means. Mega Eclipses has a good take. Because steroids are illegal without a prescription. Even if they do have one, it's likely a very dubious one. In John Mulaney's latest special, he talks about how he'd find some random crappy doctor and get prescribed whatever. And that's true, that does happen. I don't think Hollywood wants to admit it, so they talk about genetics, weightlifting, chicken, and rice. The closest anyone has come to admitting anything is Rob McElhaney, talking about the process and going to a doctor to monitor your testosterone levels, and later saying some people just have naturally high levels of testosterone. Ellen Richardson has been, this is from Bukoskified, I guess. Ellen Richardson has been open about taking steroids to build muscle for Reacher. He's prescribed it to help in injury recovery from working out a ton and putting muscle mass, which is just a nicer way of saying he's prescribed to put on muscle mass. Traumatized and Back, entitled, If You're a Transphobe Saying Ridiculous Things, Don't Be Surprised to Get Ridiculous Questions. I love it already. An old friend of the family came over. I say old because we don't like him at all anymore and have been no contact for a while. Anyway, he popped up unexpectedly saying sorry for the argument that led to the fallout. We weren't very happy to see him, but politely invited him in for some tea. What kind of tea? A talk kind of tea? Earl Grey tea? Iced tea? Lemon honey tea? Lemon honey tea, by the way, is really good when you're sick. Well, he hadn't changed at all and as soon started talking about random subjects nobody had mentioned. He's a rabid religious homophobe, transphobe, etc. He was going on about it in a traumatizing way. We were too polite to kick him out. I would tell him. As soon as people start talking like that, I'd leave. I leave or they leave. They leave it there in my house. I leave the phone in theirs. Because I don't do that. Not cool. We were too polite to kick him out, but also wanted him to get him to shut up without blowing the top ourselves. I was out. My parents didn't want to deal with him, so it was my sister that ended up conversing with him. This friend works in a pet store. You won't believe, he raged, how many trans people I've seen in the pet store. Just terrible. My sister faked shock and incredulity. What could they be doing to the dogs? She gasped in mock indignation. He studied for a moment and realized how ridiculous he sounded. Then he moved on to another path of conversation. God made two genders. He didn't. There are not two genders. There are only two genders. There's not even just two sexes, much less two genders. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. Yep. And sometimes there are people who are fluid and go between them. And sometimes there are people that are non-binary, and that's okay too. They don't have to choose. They can be non-binary. It's fine. Don't defile God's wondrous creation. Why God make them that way? Not something you choose. With a sweet smile, my sister replied, yes, God is truly wondrous. Did you know clownfish can change sexes under certain conditions? Like, it's a miracle. My friend froze mid-trans tirade. He wasn't brazen enough to contend with scientific fact, trapping him in a paradox of trans people were wrong and went against God. How come God made trans fish? I don't know. I know that's oversimplified and inaccurate, but it probably was what he was thinking. You could see his precious propaganda crumbling around him. Quickly, he brought up his studies in Hebrew and left shortly after that. If he's studying Hebrew, he should know better than this. My sister told all of this to me while laughing. Happy Pride Month, by the way. I don't think I've said it yet, unfortunately. Yeah, this guy's a jerk. I hate people like this. And I hate that it's male, it's woman and man and woman. No, it's male and female. Male and female, and then there are several different variations on that theme. There's also a brain body connection as to when your body decides to go one way or the other. And your brain decides to go the other way, it's in the womb. Like that's a choice. Happens in the womb, just like gayness probably happens in the womb. This one's easier to pinpoint than when same-sex attraction or being gay um, transpires. There's all kinds of variation, even in other species. So I don't know why you think we're so special. Possum dealer says apparently intersex people don't exist. I had somebody literally say that they're still just male or female. No, they're not. I literally know someone who decided not to stay on Earth when he was 16 because he was not really a he and wasn't exposed to trans people and was born intersex. His parents chose, and it was not the choice he would have made had he had a choice as an infant. OP says, I think this would break his brain as I told him about intersex people. Skinny ass hacker says, I can't find the brain breaking video I used to send people. It appears to have been made private. Though I haven't watched it this year yet, I will later. I think it's an updated version. It's the same person anyway. This has helped a lot of people understand the stance and also broken a lot of brains in the process. Share this with your sister. Tell her I think she's amazing. I'm going to put this in. I don't know what it is. But I'm putting the link in the notes. After the tagline, of course. I think I'll put it after the Gmail, after the email, but before the social media links. I'm just calling it brain breaking video. So you can watch that. Apparently the person's name is Forrest, and he's always a winner in Abysmal Keju's book. Okay, and he removed his original Sex and Sensibility video for the updated one. So cool. So it is the right video. Five Alive 5 says, yes, God is truly miraculous. Did you know clownfish can change sexes under certain conditions? It's like a miracle. This reminds me of the one in Jurassic Park. Now, some West African frogs have been known to spontaneously change sex from male to female in a single sex environment. And we should have known this 30 years ago. 30 years ago, we were exposed to this. OP says there's a whole bunch of animals who can do wacky stuff like changing sexes or reproducing without a mate. They're all really cool. Yeah. Sarah Fire Lily says, nature doesn't do boxes, as Christians can't wrap their heads around how weird nature is. Also, while the XX and XY in humans is really simplified, I know Siscow has an episode on humans, and Lindsay Nicole has a lot of videos that would scare your parents' crazy friend. Also, fungus is more closely related to animals than plants. That's true. Next we have What Should I Do? And it is entitled, Should I Go to the ER for this bat bite? And yes, you should, like now. Like now. Like yesterday. You should have gone yesterday. You could have gone immediately. Bats are known to carry really bad rabies. We had neighbors that ended up on the local news because they were playing with a dead bat. And they all had to get rabies shots because they were playing with a dead bat. I don't even know how they managed to learn that they shouldn't have done that and needed rabies shots. Thankfully, none of them got rabies. So that's good. Did not see a bat, just woke up with this. It looks like a bat bite. Well, you should go anyway, shouldn't you? That could be a snake bite. To clarify, I have not seen a bat. I have no reason to suspect it's a bat other than that the window being slightly open without a screen and the mark itself looking like photos online. I live in a city. I thought people would tell me I'm being silly to worry here. We're all supposed to go to the ER if we wake up with 2 dots on our skin. I'm wondering what level of precaution is reasonable. Odds are tiny. Update. So I'm at the ER getting a vaccine for Dot. And every doctor is laughing in my face low key and rolling their eyes, and I'm spending thousands in the ER, which is the only place that treats that. I am in the US. But everyone will be happy to learn I'm getting the shot, so 100% won't die of rabies. Precautions are important. Why don't you have screens on your windows? It's weird. American healthcare is truly a humiliation ritual, including for my wallet, and I'm spending money I definitely don't have when I'm already in student debt. Plug for universal healthcare like every developed country, or it wouldn't even have to juggle this decision. That's the problem. That's the problem right there, is that our healthcare does not just automatically take care of this like it should. And I'm not saying it's free because it's not free. It's included in your taxes. And it would be cheaper for everyone if we had universal healthcare. Also, this is not karma farming post. I don't know why people make those. I honestly have got to just a little health anxiety. Posted this was not expecting much in response and gave me nightmares, so here we are. And thank you everyone who gave me their input. Better safe than sorry. I really wish none of this had happened while I'm in the midst of exams for my degree. Really bad timing. I also deeply sorry to the hypochondriacs like myself who'd see this post in the future and remember the odds are higher that I got struck by a car on the way home, walking to the hospital by a lot. Not for me. We've had bats in our house so many times, and we have screens on the windows. The last time we're just sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden a bat swoops out of nowhere. I don't even know where it came from or how it got in. We have screens on everything. Somebody must have left the door open and just long enough at just the right time. So we do have bats out in the. We have bat boxes and stuff. So I like the bats. I like the bats outside. But my husband was trying to get it. He went down the hall. I opened the door because I like, why didn't he open the door to begin with? I don't know. And tried to get it to come back our way. And it must have went out the door because it disappeared. We never saw it at all. So they're not dumb. Just open the door and then nudge him out. But he caught a baby bat in the basement of our old house once, and a bat in the basement of this house before. So at least 3 times that we've had a bat in the house. I don't know why they like us. Mosquitoes don't like us, so maybe that has something to do with it. Hibiscus bunny is a top-rated comment. It says, yes, go immediately. Rabies is 100% fatal if you don't get shots before symptoms start. External Elk says, yes, I want to just stress that 100% fatal here is not an exaggeration. If you get rabies and don't get treated early, you will inevitably die. There's only been one person that has survived an actual rabies outbreak. One person ever. And they had to put them in some kind of weird coma to get that to happen. Rick to Chad says, better safe than dead. Caroline Culture said, death from rabies is agonizing. Once symptoms begin, you're dead. If LP is in the U.S., health departments should be able to help them get rabies shots if they don't have insurance. Illustrious Ranger says, yep, Carolyn is right. If you can't afford vaccines, contact your health department. They will help you, especially with something like this. Yeah, because you don't want people running around with rabies. It's Jay says, why aren't you already there with the skull? And then somebody mentions karma farming, which is rude. I mean, you don't want to panic, but in a case of suspected bat bite, panic, okay? Panic every time. You don't even have to get bit, necessarily. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled, you want a physical signature for every single requisition. Hope you brought a comfortable chair. Hey, myself, Ethan, and I worked as a lead technician for a specialized industrial firm where we handle heavy machinery repairs. Now, because these parts are expensive and often custom ordered, our old system was simply I'd email my manager, hey, we need a $4,000 hydraulic seal, and he'd reply, approved, and I'd order it. Quick, efficient, and everyone was happy. Enters Kevin. Kevin is a new efficiency consultant turned director of operations. Kevin thinks email is for lazy people and decided that to curb unauthorized spending, every single requisition, regardless of cost, now requires a physical ink on paper signature on a specific form 402 and hand delivered to his office. That sounds ridiculous. I told Kevin this was a bad idea because we're a high volume shop. On a busy Monday, I might order 40 different items ranging from $5 bolts to $10,000 engines. Kevin's response, if it's not signed by me in person, the company isn't paying for it. No exceptions. I don't care if it's a nickel or a grand. I want to see every request that crosses your desk. This is going to be PETA for Kevin, I have a feeling. I realized Kevin didn't quite grasp what every request meant. I usually batch my orders or handle the small stuff, washers, lubricants, safety goggles, through a general shop fund, but not anymore. Monday morning comes, instead of batching my needs onto one list, I treat every single individual component as a separate requisition. Need 10 specific bolts? That's one form. I would say that's 10 forms. Need a bottle of degreaser? That's a form. Need a replacement light bulb for the break room? Form. By 10 a.m., I had a stack of 62 individual forms. I walked into Kevin's office. He was on a conference call. I waited when he hung up and laid the stack down. Kevin, what is this? Me, the requisitions for the morning. You said you wanted to see every request. I need these signed so I can get the shop running. It took him 20 minutes to sign them all because he insisted on reading each one. By the time he finished, I was back with 15 more. By Tuesday, he was visibly annoyed, and by Wednesday, the fallout had begun. Because I was spending half my day walking back and forth to his office and waiting for him to finish meetings to get signatures, the actual repair work slowed to a crawl. 3 major clients called to ask why their machines weren't ready. The breaking point was the emergency overnight. A local plant had a massive failure, and we needed a $12 O-ring to fix a $200,000 pump. It was around 4:45 p.m. Kevin had already headed out for a networking dinner. Now, under the old rules, I just buy it and get reimbursed, but under Kevin's new no exceptions rules, I couldn't. I told the client, I'm sorry, I don't have authorization to purchase the part until it's physically signed off by the director. The client was furious. They called the CEO. The CEO called Kevin at his dinner. Kevin told the CEO he'd handle it in the morning. The CEO told Kevin to get his behind back to the office now. Kevin had to drive 45 minutes back to his office in his suit just to get a single piece of paper for a $12 part. Why is Kevin in his suit? Why does that matter? I'm not sure why in his suit matters. They have to go back to get his suit? They change for the dinner? I'm confused. Is already wearing the suit? What does that matter? Vedlin says, the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wisdom says, if it ain't broke, fix it until it is. Second top rated comment is from Kapil Sharma, and it says, I love how the CEO did not just fix the problem, but specifically made Kevin drive back to the office to face the consequences of his own stupid policy. Anonymous Cowherd says, Kevin is going to be signing on for unemployment soon at that rate. Yes. Then there's a deleted comment. I don't understand it. Didn't make sense because they didn't. Captain Ginger says, Kevin is a former efficiency consultant who thinks mail is for lazy people. Wanging sent me. They obviously had to fail upwards because the dude certainly has no idea what the word efficient means. Exactly. Contrantier says, Kevin, define efficient. A fish ant, an otolaryngologist, I can't say that, of the ichthyology ichthyologic variety. Kevin, you're fired. Huh? I don't know what you're saying. Kevin, you are hereby subjected to pyroclastic ignition. Hey, you can't pyroclastic ignite me. I cease to function. Stains up. Storms builds up opposite charges with cumulonimbus. Excuse me, way too many words for me. Cumulonimbus integration out the door. That was too hard. Probably gonna cut that short. Next, we have evil buildings and is entitled Indonesia's presidential palace in Nusantara. Takes me a while. I'm sorry. I think it looks kind of cool. It's very dark. It's very dark, but it's also very cool. That's the presidential palace. They have all of the like government buildings there, government offices there because it's huge. Okay, I gotta look up something. I just want to know the square footage. 26,000 square feet. Versus the White House is 55,000 square feet. That's bigger than 26,000 square feet. There's no way. That is bigger than smaller than the White House. All across 6 floors. That looks huge though. How is that only 26,000 square feet? I don't believe them. Oh, that's the gondola. I specifically said Nostra. Try again. Okay, so they're talking about this little building here. I want that one. It's the State Palace. Well, that makes more sense. That's Malaysia. That doesn't tell me how much square footage it is. It's not on a list. That's BS. That is not that. I keep getting it mixed up with an, that's not it either. I think I think they gave us the wrong thing. I don't believe them. I don't believe them because I keep getting different buildings. It looks like a massive evil bird with the wings spread, kind of, a little bit. There's another, looks like another thing. Apparently it's hollow, so there's no square footage in there. That's silly. Okay, next we have Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled AITJ for refusing to babysit my nephew for a week because my sister decided to go on vacation. Probably not. Nephew brat, probably. I have an older sister. She has a husband and a 6-year-old son. To be honest, their life has always been a bit unstable. Her husband might quit his job because he's tired of it and then spend months looking for a new one. That sounds lovely. You should always have a new job lined up before you stop the old one, unless you're guaranteed to get a new one. They're constantly short on money. Sometimes they have debt. Sometimes they borrow from our parents. For me, on the other hand, everything is calm. I work in IT. I have a decent salary, no kids, and I live alone. Because of this, for the past 3 years, I've often helped them out with my nephew. At first, it was manageable, sitting with him for a evening or taking him for the weekend once a month. Once a month seems egregious. Then somehow it gradually became almost an obligation for me, especially because the kid is a real handful. Ah, see, told ya. I get the kids to be noisy, but the problem here is specifically how he's being raised. They hardly ever say no to him. If he breaks something, the usual reaction is, well, he's just a kid or you're overreacting. Uh, it's normal when kids breaks. It's normal when kids broke something. If you're not taught to treat other people, your own things with respect, much less other people's things with respect, you're not raising your child right. Especially one time he was throwing toys around and smashed my monitor. Not cool. Another time he took my gamepad, even though I told him right away not to touch it, and broke the joystick. The worst part is with my work laptop. I stepped into the kitchen for just a couple of minutes and he spilled juice on it and started laughing. He's 6, he should know better. The repair cost a pretty penny. My sister said then that they couldn't help out with money right now because they were going through a tough time. After that, I started agreeing to babysit him less often, especially since I had a girlfriend and because I wanted to spend more time with her. My sister recently wrote to say that they finally saved up enough money for a week-long vacation and they were really looking forward to some time alone. Why aren't you taking your 6-year-old with you? You're a parent. Family vacations are for 6-year-olds. um, she asked me to take the nephew for the whole week since my vacation overlaps with theirs. That's when I really lost it. I asked how it was that they had money for a vacation but never any money to pay for the things their son broke, and why my vacation was automatically considered free time for their child. My sister immediately started crying. Her husband started saying I was counting every penny and wasn't acting like family at all. Well, you keep breaking my stuff, so. My parents are still piling on the pressure now, too. Why doesn't he stay with the grandparents? The most infuriating thing is no one asked if I actually wanted to spend my vacation that way. Now I kind of get that she's having a hard time. He's really tired. She's really tired, but I feel like I've been stuck in the role of backup parent and I'm trying to get out of it. No, you're not the jerk for that. They can pay somebody. If they pay for vacation, they can pay somebody to watch the kid or they can take the kid with them. Or call grandma and grandpa. He's got 2 sets of those, right? Oops. Oh, why do I not have the? Hold on. I don't have the comments. Jerk. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, actually. Oh, not even know what was supposed to be there. I can tell. That was not even the right one. I don't know where that one came from. So we're going to read another one. This is from AITAH. Entitled AITAH for putting a bedtime pause on the Wi-Fi because my girlfriend's 28-year-old brother has spent nearly a decade rotting in our house playing video games. And no, probably not. Around 8 years ago, my girlfriend's younger brother moved back into our house with his wife after leaving the Marines. After high school, he enlisted and spent a few years mostly doing support and base related work and then got out. His plan was to use his GI Bill, pursue a real education, and figure out a long term career path by staying with us temporarily. And how that has become permanent happens a lot. We fully support him, no rent, no free housing, utilities, internet, food. We constantly cook meals for them. We also help out with job opportunities, resources, and encouragement. The problem is that temporary has slowly become years. He never committed to school, never held a serious job, and slowly spent all of his time gaming. He stays up until sunrise, wakes up at 3 p.m., and avoids people whenever guests come over. Meanwhile, his wife worked full time as a cashier, supporting them both. Eventually, she cheated and left him, saying she no longer felt uh, anything for someone who had lost all ambition and passion for life. Don't blame her. Cheating is wrong, but I understood how resentment could build up after years of caring for someone. She should have left before she cheated. She can leave because he's not holding up his end of the relationship. After the divorce, he admitted he had wasted years of his life and promised he wanted to change. We supported him through that too. Then my girlfriend's parents moved back into the property to emotionally support him as well. The house was originally bought for them years ago before being transferred into our names, so technically it's ours now, but there's still a family attachment involved. Fast forward to now, nothing has changed. He's 28 and still spends nearly all day in his room gaming. He's probably depressed. He needs some mental health. I've brought this issue up to my girlfriend multiple times over the years. Almost every time, she either gets angry at me for bringing it up or says she's working on a study program or figuring things out, but those plans never actually happen. Her parents have also admitted that they're tired of talking to him because nothing changes. At this point, I honestly feel like I'm stuck in an echo chamber where everyone recognizes the problem, but nobody wants to confront it anymore. 2 weeks ago, I quietly set a Wi-Fi bedtime pause from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. since me and my girlfriend all utilities basically all utilities, including internet. Honestly, I thought it would affect nobody except him because everyone else sleeps like normal adults. My girlfriend got upset because I did it without telling her. She said she couldn't sleep knowing that there was tension in the house because of the Wi-Fi pause. Oh my goodness. I can't sleep because nobody can get on the internet, even though I don't want to get on the internet. She also explained that growing up, their grandparents controlled things in the house in ways that made her feel like she had no freedom, so the Wi-Fi situation brought back bad memories. I told her I understood and agreed that her grandparents said it was unfair, but I also told her she isn't a child anymore, neither is her brother. This isn't parents punishing teenagers. This is a 28-year-old man, grown man, spending nearly a decade in avoiding adulthood while everyone around him financially cushions the consequences. Should at least be paying rent. I finally told her something that came from years of frustration that somehow everyone can sleep peacefully. Well, well, and somehow everyone can sleep peacefully while watching her brother waste his life isolated in a bedroom gaming all night. But pausing the internet for 6 hours suddenly becomes an unbearable problem. She thinks I'm being cruel towards someone who may be depressed. If he's depressed, he needs help. Get him help. I think everyone has spent years enabling self destruction because nobody wants to be the bad guy. AITAH. Update. Hey everyone, thanks for all your comments. I honestly never expected this post to blow up the way it did. No one ever does. No one ever expects it. I've been trying to read through as many comments as possible and really reflect on the situation instead of reacting emotionally. A lot of people had questions regarding the ownership of the house, and I do admit I wasn't very clear about certain details. Part of that was unintentional because I wanted to maintain some anonymity for myself and the people involved in case the post gained too much attention, which it obviously did. I hope you guys can understand that. After reading through many of your perspectives, I sat down with my girlfriend last night. We had a very serious conversation about the future expectations moving forward. I explained to her that I cannot continue living in a situation where one person refuses to take accountability while everyone else is expected to carry the burden. For clarification, the issue is mainly regarding her brother. A lot of the frustration comes from the fact that there has been little to no initiative from him, despite everyone around him trying to help. I understand people go through difficult periods in life. I truly tried to be patient and supportive, but at some point, effort has come from the individual too. I told my girlfriend that if nothing changes, uh, we need to separate living arrangements, and I will move out. As difficult as that conversation was, I felt it was necessary because the situation cannot continue indefinitely without structure, accountability, and an actual effort being made. Why are you not married? I mean, he's been there a decade, which means you've been there longer. Plan moving forward is to establish real deadlines and measurable steps for her brother to start addressing his situation instead of continuing to avoid it. As many commenters have pointed out, VA resources will be the first thing we push him toward pursuing immediately. After that, we discussed career workshops, employment assistance programs, and other resources that could help him get back on his feet and build some long term stability. I also made it clear that I am willing to support someone who is actively trying to improve their situation, but I cannot enabling someone who refuses to help themselves. I care deeply about my girlfriend and her family, which is why I stepped up and stayed patient for as long as I did. But I've also realized that I need to protect my own future finances and mental well being too. For now, I'm focusing less on promises and more on actions. I genuinely appreciate everyone who offered advice, criticism, concern, and enough truth. A lot of your comments gave me perspective I honestly hadn't considered before. And all of the comments are from before the update. So we'll see if we get another update on that one. Next, we have Neighbors for Hell. This is entitled, Sorry, friends, folks, my neighbors turn to use the sun. So if we could all just bring in our washing and be more mindful of a separate schedule, that would be great. I live in a 4 block and we have our own spacious garden separated by 6-foot fences. With that, we all have our own washing line, no shared appliances either. I was hanging out my second wash of the day, and this lovely lady stomped up to the fence and demanded I bring my washing in as I am inconsiderate arsehole, and hers would take longer to dry now. Oh well. My reply, it's hotter than Satan's ass crack today. I think we'll be fine, was apparently too much for her to handle. And she screamed she'll be phoning the landlord to complain. She's entirely serious. She complains about everyone on the street at this point, so her ridiculous complaints are only hurting herself. Did we already read this one? It's possible. Oh no, we have not. We have not already read this one. If you can picture things in your mind, picture Barat in his little thong bathing suit on the beach. Because I'm not showing that. Oh, it's mostly just memes. Next, we have Benign Existence, and it is entitled I Accidentally Made My Postman Part of My Morning Routine. Okay, so every morning I usually end up leaving the house around the same time a postman gets to my room. Not planned, just one of those weird little overlaps. First few times it was just a normal nod, then became morning, and then one day it was raining and he went, "You picked a bad one today." And I said, "Yeah, but at least we're suffering together." Nothing hilarious, barely even a conversation, but now it's a thing. If I leave a little bit early, I sort of wonder if I'll miss him. If I leave late, he's already passed. The road feels slightly wrong, which is stupid because this is a man whose name I don't know and whose entire relationship with me is basically weather commentary. Today I came out and he was already walking past my gate. He lifted one letter in the air and says, "Nothing for you today." I said, "Devastating," like it was expecting life-changing news from the council or something. He laughed and kept walking. That was it. No point really. Just funny how someone becomes a tiny part of your day without either of you ever agreeing to it. Honestly, this is probably a highlight of the day and he looks forward to it every day. What silly thing are you going to say today? He laughs. It gets him a laugh. Pridefully brightens his day. Say Lorgo says, the neighborhood where I used to work had the friendliest postman. He had friends all along his route. Some people became long-term friends with him. I saw him again about 20 years after I left, and he was still friendly, even though I doubt he remembered me at all. Such a nice guy. Powerful Candy says it's possible. As a kid, me and my sis called our postman Buddy. We would race him down the street to our house. Years after we moved away, we were at my cousin's house, and Buddy, delivering the mail, recognized us. Left in second grade. I saw him when I was in ninth grade, I believe. Now I work at the post office warehouse, and I miss him. Second top-rated comment is from the Rottmeister. Our mail lady knew the dog we adopted because he was a local semi-stray. His ex-owners would either leave him outside or crated inside, both for long periods of time. And when we took him in, we'd see her on our walks, and he was a very happy dog, despite the circumstances, and he just loved people. She ended up buying him a bag of dog treats, and they are now on the rotation of treats we'll buy for him. But that was just so nice, and I learned she and I have the same name. Her name's the Rottmeister, too? Chaotic Faye guy says, I genuinely love having interactions like that. It's so insanely easy to become isolated. It makes me feel a little more human. Just to have people I recognize in a day to day, even if we aren't friends or anything. Yep. Next we have Found Satan, and it's entitled Satan, What the Wang. Uh, your favorite kind twink says, overheard my bully plans to out my sexuality to my homophobic parents on graduation day. So I'll kiss him on stage in front of his homophobic parents. That's kind of sexual assault, a little bit. But I mean, he's a bully, so maybe he deserves it. Akira Reach says it's all good until the bully kisses him back. Yeah, he's probably attracted to him. Glittering Tip says it gets deeper. You won't be on stage at the same time unless you have the same last name. Dad's a bad girl says 10-10, no notes, fighting fire with fire. Shake says, I don't know, man. Essay isn't really a fighting tool one should use. That's true. Aranima says, right, let's dial it up to a 10. This lady plans on telling people I have a small penis. I'm a raper. Probably not a good mentality, but I would know I never essayed someone. Sexual assault probably isn't the way to go. Next, we have Just No Mail, and is entitled My Mail forced ridiculous every other week living arrangement on me during college. So my boyfriend and I moved out. Why are you living with your boyfriend's parents during college? Dude, what are we doing here? Hi everyone, this happened a while ago, but I still can't get over it. I just need to get it out of my system. Hope this helps. Some context. My boyfriend and I were going to college in a big city away from our hometowns. So naturally, we had to find apartments in the area. At first, we lived separately because we hadn't been together for very long. That's reasonable. However, we eventually decided to move in together because we both had awful roommates, and I was already planning to leave my flat. Since my boyfriend was living in an apartment owned by his family, he had the option to ask his current roommate to move out. At first, my mother-in-law agreed to this setup. She even told me I didn't have to pay rent, which felt very nice and unexpected, and honestly not like her at all. The only catch was that we had to share the apartment with my boyfriend's sister, who was starting college that same year. Actually, that doesn't seem that tragic. That seems reasonable. I didn't mind because she was nice to me until then, and I thought I would finally feel a bit more included. Right before the semester started, my mother-in-law changed the rules. Out of nowhere, she announced that I could actually only live there every other week. That makes no sense. Which absolutely made zero sense. I had classes every single week. I was supposed to magically find another apartment for the remaining weeks. My boyfriend tried to reason with her and told her how ridiculous she was being, but she wouldn't budge. This is when your boyfriend and his sister just lie to their parents, because it's stupid. It's okay to lie if your parents are being stupid, but they have to be really, really stupid like this. I desperately tried to find another apartment last minute, but it was too late. The housing market here is brutal and the prices are astronomical. Because of this ridiculous arrangement, I ended up missing half my classes that semester. The whole living situation was a nightmare. The sister kept picking fights and would constantly yell at me whenever my boyfriend wasn't around, on top of spreading lies about me. After a couple months of this, my mother in law dropped another bomb and told me I had to move out completely, right in the middle of the academic year, when finding a new place was completely impossible. Thankfully, my boyfriend was absolutely furious with her. He refused to let her treat me this way, so he packed up his bags and moved out with me. We ended up living at my parents' house for the rest of that year because the distance, we had to skip all of our classes and only drove to the city for exams. It was exhausting, but the next school year we managed to find our own apartment in time. I'm still angry about this and I can't comprehend what she actually agreed with me living there just later to mess with me like this. But I'm incredibly grateful that my boyfriend had my back through it all. Yeah, green flags for the boyfriend. His mother, he should go no contact with his mother. She's not a reasonable person. Mad Trophy Wife says she was trying to break you up. She was banking on one or the other of you getting tired of the drama and walking away. I'll have to delete the comments after that. So. Oh, how she skipped classes. My classmates sent me pictures of their daily notes, and we did study sessions together over Zoom. It wasn't easy, and my grade suffers, but it was doable. As for the 2-day-old account I created specifically to share the story. Next, we have Rita Hell, and it is entitled, I Love Ruining One Woman's Day Repeatedly. There's a woman who comes in daily to the pharmacy I work at to try and get a product called Broncaid. She buys it to make meth. That's not cool. This is a fact that we all know as she's been arrested for it. She even has other people attempt to buy it for her. Saw her talk to some dude and then hide behind an end cap. Told the fellows we didn't have any. The look of disappointment on her face when he told her was priceless. The other day I saw her looking outside and sure as crap ran a moment up to the counter and asked for Broncaid. I didn't even bother looking for it. Straight up told her no. And then she asked for Primatine pills. My response was no pills. We do have the mist. It's the same thing, but in a handy mist form. She also says it has to be the pills. I say no pills. Sorry to ruin you and insert meth lady's name day. The color drained from her face, and then she just scurried away. Yep, no meth for you today. I'm not doing meth today. Redneck Angel said, at the gas station I work for, we sell glass pipes. When someone comes in and asks for a pipe, I immediately get out the one that works for meth. And my coworker, on the other hand, weirdly asks, weed or meth pipe? Opie says it would be worth it just to hear them say meth. Redneck Angel says she gets so much joy out of it. Hey, it's the little things. It's the little things that add up. Connect Wild says, I worked in a produce agency which stocked a different substance used for treating horses, which was also an ingredient in the illicit drug manufacture. Had some hairy moments denying sale to randoms that were decidedly not horse lovers. uh, Semi Bacony says they still make Primatine pills, so I swear those little wingers are straight up speed. Opie says, honest, I didn't even know we sold them. Literally, no one has asked for them until she did. I knew her game and just said no. When she left, I looked and we had like 5 boxes. They still sit there until they expire. I didn't even know there were Primatine pills. I'll use the Primatine mist occasionally for my asthma and little asthma flare ups when I actually deem to exercise, unfortunately. I should do that more. I know. I don't have time. Yesterday, literally started at like 8 o'clock in the morning, wasn't done until like after 5 o'clock, after 6 o'clock. So 9 in the morning until like 6:30 last night. And that didn't include making dinner. I got it done though. Shocker. Only because my husband left work really late and then went to the grocery store. Next, we have Petty Revenge and is entitled Holding the Lift. I live on the 7th floor of an 8-story building. My neighbors on the 4th floor leave to take their kids to school at the same time I go to work. They frequently hold the lift for way too long in the morning as they get everybody in the car. No, they're getting everybody in the car. There's only one lift in the building, so I end up standing there waiting for several minutes. It was especially bad one day last week. After 3 minutes, I just took the stairs down. As I passed them on the 5th floor, they were still standing in the lobby holding the lift door, so it couldn't go anywhere. Mom was slathering sunscreen on the kids' faces and talking loudly about something. Okay, so she should have gotten all the kids in the elevator and then did the sunscreen while they were moving. That went on for a while, and I actually beat them to the ground floor. Though I was super annoyed at their poor etiquette. Later that same evening, my kid and I walked into the building about 20 seconds before their family. Normally, I'd wait so they could get on the lift with us, but due to their antics in the morning, we already closed the door and go to our apartment. Good for you. When the lift got to the 7th floor, I held the doors open so that it couldn't go back down to get them. I used my stopwatch to time 2 minutes and then pushed the 8th floor button before letting it go. It was super petty of me, but I got great satisfaction of giving them a taste of their own medicine. Medical Potato said I walked down to the 5th floor, entered the lift, and asked if they were in or out because the door's closing. Yes, exactly. Shade X is the third top rate comment, and they say, yeah, we skipped the second one. The elevator at my mom's place starts a loud alarm if the door is being held open longer than a minute. Yours needs that too. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Did I tell you about staying at the Hasidic Jewish hotel on a Friday night? So, if you aren't aware, and some people are, Jewish people observe the Sabbath from whenever it gets dark on Friday night until it's dark on Saturday night. There are some other religions that do that too. So in the Jewish hotel, they set it up on Friday night because it's Hasidic Jews and they can't use electricity in a normal manner. They also had lights, weird lights in there. If the elevator was at the bottom floor, it would go all the way up to the top floor and hit every floor on the way down. And it would pick you up and keep going down to the bottom. And then it would go up and then it would hit every floor on the way down until you got to your floor. And that's how they get around their rules. Because God doesn't know that they're trying to circumvent rules, apparently. It's silly. Next, we have expectation versus reality. This is Husby requested a mimic cake for a D&D group, and this is what I got delivered. The cake design was based off Nick Alcaraz's Devil's Food Cake from his peculiar baking cookbook. This is really cute. I'm assuming this is not what they got. Assuming this was the original. Should we risk it? I mean, it could be worse. It could be better, but it could be worse. It's pretty scary. It's good. Actually, I like it. That's a good job. I can't complain about that. Shaunaverse says, surprisingly met expectations. I would give it a full exceeded expectations. Your cake seems much more 3D and alive than the one in the first picture. Yeah, I agree. Dark Skis Art says, that's sick as heck. Total delivered. Prototype says, yours is so much better. I said I liked it. All right, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 3 times a week, not Monday, Tuesday through Thursday, around 11:30 or 12 o'clock, depending on the day, or depending on my schedule. Next, we have this charming Boston townhouse is hiding a secret in the basement. And there's no link. No link. So it's just the pictures that they posted on Reddit. I hate it when they don't do the link. So I know nothing about it. It's just this house. That's lovely. Oh, I really like that, actually. I like that they have the mural, but it's not loud and obnoxious like most murals seem to be. It's I mean, this would normally be too busy for me, especially with these things. But those are very subdued and nice. Holy cow, look at that. Look at all the ovens. Holy cow, I love it. Nice. Lovely. Built-in grill. Maybe the spiders won't actually live in there. That's really cool. Nice fireplace. I love it. I want to live here. Where is this? That is AI. Not real. It doesn't even look real. There you go. That's nice too. I guess that was a surprise pool living in the basement. That's really cool. Does it go outside? It goes somewhere. Oh, it goes all the way under there. Oh, that's wild. I love it. Oh, he says, I was looking for something near the theater district just in case I win the lottery. Yeah, that'd be fun. Still waiting on that party copter. Next we have AITAH and is entitled AITAH for putting a bedroom. Oh no, there it goes. Never mind, we already read this. I don't know what's going on here. It's really weird. Okay, we have I have found the comments to the Am I the Jerk post from earlier. Cool Kidio says, enjoy your vacation peacefully. You've earned it. Yes, exactly. Wonder Woman says, NTJ, if your parents care so much about your sister's vacation, let them take the care for the week. Somebody said something that was removed by the moderator. I don't know what. C ad says, can't his side of the family help? Yes. Melissa ad says this, a child who has a father, I'm sure they can ask his folks to help out. Yeah, give him half to the one side grandparents and half to the other. Does he have any other uncles or aunts? Nobody wants this kid for a reason. These arguments says tell your parents to take him if they are creating a fuss or a random thought here. How about his parents take him for the holiday? You deserve a break as much as anyone else, and you deserve the choice of how and who to spend it with. Exactly. Everybody else is saying family vacation, just like I did. All right, sides of the story. That's just ruining things for the rest of us, I guess. I believe this is a jukebox. Oops. It says no Mr. Brightside after 8 p.m. Why not? I don't know what Mr. Brightside is. I probably recognize it if I heard it, but it's not ringing about me. Sometimes that happens. My brain is not. I can associate weird stuff, but I can't associate like normal normal people. I cannot remember like artists with songs and stuff like that. I can recognize and tell you the name of an actor if I see them, but my husband can do it if he hears them. It's weird. There's the Wayne's World thing. Not Roger Smith would say someone getting drunk after a rough breakup was blasting this on repeat and it was the most complaints I ever got. The only song worth endless repeat is Stevie Ray Vaughan's Riviera for Paradise. Photon Next says, or Texas Flood. I don't know about that. Anything by Penny Markey on repeat is great. Married and bored guy says, crap, my home PM's going to start coming out of my cage. Next we have Server Life and is entitled to had 40 gift cards on their Mother's Day bingo. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. This is why they seem to have it on the floor is beyond me. I would never put anything on a restaurant floor. That's disgusting. Let's put the carpet anyway. I mean, if it's hard floor, you can wash it at least, but carpet, all that food that's spilled on there is disgusting. Sorry, it's gross. Kind of grossing me out. Sound December says, hello, fellow Landers employee, 40 gift cards in fact on my bingo card for today. Second top rate comment is later composer. Are we doing like 3 promotions at once and some genius decided they should be able to stack discounts? First, we announced that several menu items are on special at greatly reduced price. Next, we send gift cards out to aging services clinic to gift away to their patients. Then we also gave out Mother's Day coupons. So we got slammed with a tidal wave of boomers who proceeded to discount $85 plus tabs to down like $12 and then pay $12 with the gift card and either not leave a tip because boomer logic, if it's paid for with a gift card, it counts as free. I do not do that. Technically a boomer by 2 weeks. I'm a Gen Z. My younger sister-in-law's a boomer. But you always tip on the original amount, not on a discount. So this weekend sales will look amazing, but tips are like 5%. That sucks. Management is going to have a talk with the owner. Lost our asses on this one. We've basically just been busting my butt in a free lunch for seniors program. Hopefully it creates some return customers or something, because Wang. I hope so. Honestly, I would, on Mother's Day, put a 20% gratuity on everything for everybody, for all the servers. That's what you should be doing. Oh, it was an $1,100 check with 40 $25 gift cards. OP says it was already gratuity due to party size, and then they left 20% extra, so I'm not complaining about the tip. Though the tip was good. Tip was good for them. Next we have confession, and is entitled, I'm trapped in a line I cannot run, and my neighbor started it. I accidentally trained my neighbor to think I'm way fitter than I am, and now I can't stop. A few months ago, he saw me jogging past his house and said something like, good on you. Keep that fit. The truth was, I was not jogging. I was late. Anyway, the next day I walked past again and he waved and said, another run today. And instead of correcting him, I just said, yeah. So now every time I go to his house, I have to jog. It doesn't matter if I'm carrying groceries. Doesn't matter if I'm in jeans. Doesn't matter if I was literally just walking to the mailbox 2 seconds earlier. As soon as I get near his driveway, I start running and I'm preparing for the Olympics. Yesterday, I heard his wife say she's running past again, Paul. And I almost passed away on the spot because I had just eaten 2 sausage rolls and was trying not to throw up my fake jogging past the recycling bins. At this point, I'm considering changing streets. If you are magically on Reddit, Mr. Biggs, I'm sorry. Oh, Sam Turn. That's so cool. I don't even know where the things are for that one. What's that, confessions? No. I don't know that. Okay. Oh. Hold on, let me see if I can find the original so I can get the. We still have a lot to go, guys. Oh no, that was there. That was just what we're gonna have to live with. Okay. It's not the top comment, I don't think. Maybe it is. This is the most relatable accidental reputation arc I've seen. Started as a tiny white lie, somehow turned into full-time cardio program. I see what you did there in the title. Okay. I don't know why it says I did something because I didn't. Next we have captured a weasel riding on the back of a green woodpecker. Reddit filters are removing it from everywhere. Oh, here's a picture. Okay, I got it. Weasel riding on the back of a woodpecker. There you go. This may be AI. That might be why it's because it doesn't look really realistic, does it? I don't know. I didn't do it. Let me see what the comments say. Photo taken by Martin LeMay. Before people call this AI stuff, how the heck did that happen? Someone commented it already, but BBC made an article about it 11 years ago, so not AI slop. So I don't know why Reddit filters removed it. Reddit filters done bad. They done bad because that's cool. So I did a close up of the woodpecker. The answer is he's not enjoying his flight. And then a meme. And then their top right comment says, it's from E-Ray. I don't think this was a consensual trip. Heckfire says, I'm guessing the weasel was not exactly riding the woodpecker, but attempting to eat it. Probably. Hijacked. The woodpecker was hijacked by a weasel. Next I have I'm the A-hole, and it is entitled AITA for humiliating my ex's new girlfriend in front of our friend. Posting from an inactive account because I have some friends lurking in my main one. I, 22 female, broke up with my boyfriend, 24 male, around 8 months ago. We decided to mutually call it quits and parted on pretty good terms, which is good because we so happen to share a friend group. After a rough patch, I decided to start taking a bit more care of myself, eating better, going to the gym, going to therapy. The shift was pretty evident in both my attitude and the way I looked. My friend says I look much happier and healthier, and I began gaining confidence little by little. I'm a huge nerd. I play D&D weekly. I have thousands of hours of in Stellaris. What's Stellaris? And most relevant to the story, I like to cosplay as a hobby. Most of my old cosplay involves characters that don't show their face or body too much. Hornet from Hollow Knight, Mono from Little Nightmares, etc. I'm not familiar with any of those, just for the record. But since I've been feeling more confident, I decided that for the big con in my city, I'd like to try something different. My friend convinced me to go as Viper and Chamber from Valorant. So for the past 6 months, we've been pouring most of our free time into the cosplays. And there's nothing wrong with people dressing up and having fun. People done it for eons. What do you think masquerade balls were all about? 3 weeks ago, I sent a picture of me wearing the cosplay to the group chat and asking for feedback on the final details. My ex immediately DM'd me and asked me to please not wear the cosplay to the con because it might make his new girlfriend uncomfortable. No. I asked what would make her uncomfortable, but he refused to elaborate. I knew he was dating someone new, but I didn't know she was coming with us to the con. I tried to explain to him this is the work of months and I couldn't just throw it away because a girl I've never met felt uncomfortable about it. In the end, I wore it to the con. Good for you. And it was a huge success. Awesome. I tried to keep my distance from the larger chunk of our friend group because my ex and his girlfriend were with them, but we did spend a good part of the day with them. Throughout the whole thing, the new girl kept making snide comments at me and laughing whenever I got asked to pose for pictures. Everyone looked uncomfortable. No one said anything. Somebody in the group has got to be the Hurley and say something. After leaving the con to have dinner, though, another friend asked if the new girl if she wouldn't like to try cosplay as well. Her answer was, "Why would I need more attention from guys? I already have a boyfriend. I'm not a slut." That's rude. I snapped and told her to stop acting like a pick-me bitch just because I got attention all day. She started to cry immediately. Whine a whiner. My ex have since asked me to apologize. She should apologize. I tell him I'll only do it if she apologizes for the way she's been acting around me all day. More and more our friends start the screaming match, and I guess it gets so bad we get kicked out of the restaurant. It's been 5 days. My ex is threatening to leave the friend group. Bye if I don't apologize. I honestly wouldn't care if he did, but some of our friends are asking me to do so to keep him from leaving. No. Should I cave? No. AITA? No. Whiners get what they deserve. She's being a bully. Original attitude quotes the I apologize after your girlfriend apologizes. I'll apologize after your girlfriend apologized for implying that we, the people cosplaying, were sluts. Short and sweet and to the point. Let's see his hypocritic ass respond to that. Also, tell your friend group that it is your stance and this is the most fair to everyone involved. Safety Fluid said this, there's nothing that they can say that was wrong with your cosplay that wouldn't insult the entire group, assuming the men aren't sexist. Ice Seeker answers, he and his ex seem too far gone to apologize, so this will probably end up them leaving the group, which is good riddance. If I were OP, I would be careful around some of the friends who are asking you to apologize. They prefer him. Real friends shouldn't tolerate that level of disrespect from the girlfriend. Right? Right? Exactly. Right? Trap Cardic says, If they are really your friends, they stand there and let some stranger call you a slut. Reevaluate those friendships. Exactly. Uh, done again. Done again. Self meds says, yep, they need to be acquaintances. They've already shown that they're going to keep the boyfriend and not you. I expect this. And the third top rate comment is from Fiorborn, and they say, Auntie A, it was so perfectly okay for her to bully you all day, but the second you clap back, which anyone would do after being called a slut, she's suddenly the victim and you have to apologize? No. She shouldn't give if she can't take. She started it. It's not your fault that she's so ridiculously insecure that she has to tear you down to feel better about herself. It's not her fault she's immature. And some people are going to get the couple and some people are going to get you in the divorce. That's how that works. I'm going to keep reading comments because there's a highlighted one. Actually, I'm not going to. I'm just going to read the highlighted one. Claudius Zex answers, yeah, this reads very much like someone who got way too comfortable taking little public shots because the room kept letting it slide. Once Opie finally pushed back, the energy instantly flipped from the ha-ha jokes to tears and damage control. And that's the part people miss. After crying after escalation doesn't automatically rewrite the timeline. If you spend all day poking someone in front of an audience, you can't really act shocked when they eventually stop absorbing quietly. Retaliatory violence. Opie clearly saw the pattern for what it was, and honestly, most people physically in the room did too. And Mar answers, the crying is just another weapon. Rabbits Are My Life says, this irritated me. OMG, why does she get to be rude all day? But you're wrong when you stand up for yourself. Someone's insecure. LOL, NTA. Answer to that. Because why can't you just keep the peace means why can't you just keep letting yourself be bullied quietly so none of us have to be affected? Every time. Every single time. One of your friends should have called this out way before now. You shouldn't have to stand up for yourself. Other people should stand up for you so that you don't have to be the bad guy. Because they're not going to be the bad guy, even if they call it out. Next is from I Don't Work Here Lady, and it is entitled, Lady Wants Me to Go Get Her Kid. I Don't Work for the School. I house manage a theater that happens to be located on the campus of an affluent school. The school owns the theater, but the staff in the theater are not employees of the school. A separate company manages the theater and its workers. This is understandably confusing for some, but for most people, it's obvious we are not teachers, not admin, and very clearly the theater is not a classroom. Well, I mean, the theater could be a classroom if you're teaching drama. I had just arrived at the theater one Friday afternoon to get it set up for a private event happening that evening. I was unlocking the doors when a woman approached me. Let's call her Cheryl. Cheryl, hi, I'm here to pick up my son, Jason, last name. Me, oh, sorry, I don't work for the school. You'll have to go. Cheryl, of course you work for the school. You've got keys. I already called ahead. Can you get Jason last name? Me, I understand the confusion. I work for the theater, not the school. I can't get your child. The admin building is about 200 feet that way. They can help you. Cheryl, I don't understand why you just won't help me. It's not that hard. Just go to his classroom and get him. I can't do that. I don't work for the school. Me, miss, if I was to remove a student from his classroom, I think the police would probably get involved at that point. She paused hearing that and somehow alarmed. Cheryl, who are you? Why would the police get involved? Me, because I don't want work for the school. Cheryl, then what are you doing here? Me, I work for the theater. Cheryl, how did you get keys? Oh my God, because she works for the freaking theater and the theater has keys. I was done with this conversation. She was really worked up and I didn't want to become this thing, so I very calmly pointed to the administration building. Me, the admin buildings handle all student pickups. They're probably the people you want to talk to. If they can't help you after you pick up your child, there's a lovely performance happening tonight at 8 p.m. in the theater. It's discounted for faculty and families of students. I can get you a flyer if you want. She stared at me for a long moment and walked off. I went inside and wrote an incident report just in case she complained. Good for you. Good. She didn't end up coming to the show. I wondered why. Because she embarrassed herself terribly. And yeah, she complained that I always wrote up incident reports whenever there was a confrontation about anything write up an incident report. Attention's Bright says, some parents would be shocked to realize that any old teacher at the school would also not be checking any old student out for a day either. Monstein says it's not as simple as hey, you go get my kid from the classroom either. No, it's not. You have to go to the office, you have to sign your name, you have to tell them your kid's name, what time it is, when they'll be back sometimes. Or there's a spot for when you bring them back, if you bring them back, because sometimes they go out for like orthodontist appointment. They say it's like 15 minutes. Ocean's Part says, once I was working check in, check out for a YMCA summer camp. I asked a mom I had not met for her ID. Technically, I was supposed to ID every parent every time, but for kids that were there all summer, I got to know many of the parents and didn't need to. But I had never seen her when she came to pick up, so I asked for her ID. She left it in the car. Okay, I and your kids will still be here when after you walk back to get it. Oh no, threw a massive fit because how dare I suggest she go get it. Yelled at me several minutes while I continuously refused to get her kids. The thing is, the YMCA tells you as a parent that you will need your ID to pick up your kids, so there's no excuse to leave it in your car. If you accidentally forgot it in your car, that's on you. Go get it. I have a habit of forgetting things, so I go get it. Other parents standing around the gym members walking by. The solution that we finally came to was I handed over check in to somebody else, walked with her to the front desk, and used their computer to pull up her picture and her membership. It took about 10 times as long to settle that as it would have for her to just walk her butt to her car. Every time, I'm telling you. Zoo Ferret says it entitlement is crazy. Why would you demand a random person you think works for the school to get your kid? The employee says they don't work for the school, and then you fight them on it because they have keys to the building. What the wing is wrong with these people these days? Go to the office like a normal person and have the people who are supposed to get your kid get them. Even if the person works for the school, they're not allowed to grab students for any adult. The office needs to make sure they're allowed to take the student with them. Yes, because sometimes parents aren't even allowed to take the kids out of school. Sometimes a parent has a custody arrangement that says that they can't take the kid out of school. Sometimes the other parent has full custody and they don't want the other parent to take them out of school. They're not on the list, they don't get taken out of school. How do we know you're not a random stranger saying that you're the kid's parent and taking them out of school? Next, we have overheard, and it's entitled Boys Kissing. I overheard a dad and his son in the park. Son, those boys are kissing. Dad, don't point. Son, his hand on his butt. Dad, yes, I see. Now look away. Son, can I kiss other boys too? Dad, when you're older. Son, Josh just kisses other boys and we're almost the same age. Dad, your brother is 7 years older than you, so the two of you are not quite the same age, but I hear you. He's still a kid even though he likes to believe he's not. So the brother, I don't say how, no idea how old this kid is. He doesn't even have an about. Son, so I can kiss boys when I'm 7 years older? Dad, if you feel like kissing boys in 7 years, we can talk about it, but for now, no kissing your buddies, okay? Son, okay. Dad, did you actually see Josh kiss another boy? Son, yeah. Dad, did he see you? Son, yeah. Dad, did he stop when he saw you? Son, yeah. Dad, did he say anything to you? Son, yeah. Dad, what did he say? Son, he said go outside and play. Dad, are you sure you saw your brother with another boy? Dad, son, he was kissing Sam. Dad, Sam. Wow, okay, well then at least your brother has good taste. Sam is not a bad looking young man. I like him. Son, me too. He calls me bro. Green flags for this dad. This gay kid is going to have no problems at all. And Sam will not either. Not from this dad. Good for him. I love it. Apprehensive dad. Nice job, Dad. Miss Story says, had me until Sam is not a bad looking young man. I don't know about this one. Why are you laughing? Answered. That one got wildly downvoted, by the way. Why would it be different from a mother telling your son that his girlfriend is a nice looking girl? Just historical stay says the cadence between them seems off. Like not related or offbeat, that makes sense. Just something off there. I don't think so. Probable warming says this is through text. You don't know. I don't know. We don't know. The internet was probably a mistake. We're all cool. Somebody asked them to walk us through it. Cats on Table says, I love that the dad was like, my kid pulled Sam. That was hilarious. And Boogie says, as a dad, it can really be that easy. Defiant Caveman says, it is that easy. I don't have any problem with dad saying, oh, wow, Sam, that's cool for him. Good for him. Men objectively know that other men are good looking, even when they're not gay, okay? We have standards of beauty in this country, probably in the entire world. They change sometimes, but there are standards that we all recognize. Even straight people recognize them in other people of the same sex, same gender, I should say. Next, I have True Off My Chest, and it is entitled, I'm taking my soon to be ex to the cleaners for a divorce and loving every second of it. Good for you. My 34 female ex husband, Jordan, 35 male, and I have been together for 20 years. So 14 and 15? We were high school sweethearts and have been married for over 10 years. A few years ago, we started trying to have a baby. It didn't work out. It has been really, really frustrating. After a lot of tests and specialists, we decided ultimately because it's me. I'm okay with dealing with that. I thought we'd be dealing with it together. We won't be because instead of working through it with me, he decided to get some rando from the gym named Megan, 38 female pregnant. She's due in September or something. I found out a few weeks ago. We're obviously divorcing. It was out of nowhere for me, but I'm going to be okay. I've been in therapy for years, but I have hated every single therapist, so I'm not sure it's for me. Girl, I hear you. That's why I'm on therapy, because I'm afraid I won't like them. I used to work with those people. I know their issues. Megan is apparently anxious to be married before the baby is here. Don't ask me why she decided to have a baby with someone who is already married. That's not my problem. She has 2 other kids and sells insurance. That's all I know about her. He's moved in with them, and I filed for divorce soon after I found out about the woman and the pregnancy. But I'm not really interested in making this easy for him, and they don't like this. Maybe I'm bitter, but honestly, I think I'm just getting what I deserve. So what if you're bitter? You have every right to be bitter. You can't have kids, and now he's like got somebody else pregnant, and you have every right to be bitter. I'm in a fellowship now, but keeping it vague. I was in medical school and my residency for the past several years while he's been working a good job. In addition to my schooling and residency / internship, I've always been the main homemaker. My dad is paying for my lawyer, and I told them both that I'm not in a hurry. I'm not the pregnant one, but I think I deserve alimony for everything I've done to help him build his career. He makes really good money now, and and sure, I will too one day, but I don't now. All of the laws in our state say that he owes me alimony, so I told my lawyer I won't budge on it, and my dad agrees. Jordan and Megan are losing their minds, though. I have been blocked now because of all the hateful messages they sent me. Unblock them. You need more hateful messages. Just for evidence of what they're putting you through. Unblock them. The weird thing is, I know I seem bitter for doing this, but it's not even that. It's not even hate. I'm just looking at him in the last 20 years, and I'm embarrassed for wasting so much time on him. And I think I deserve something for that. Honey, you are only 20-something years old. Oh, you're 30, mid-30s. Yeah, that's a different thing. 20 years when you're that young is a long time. I also want the house. I put the down payment on it from the money from my grandmother, and I have put all of the blood, sweat, and tears into it. I've also paid into the mortgage. I'm not discounting anything he's done, but I don't care. So that's where we are. Well, he can pay you alimony, or he can give you the house. That seems fair. I've told him I will sign the papers tomorrow if he agrees to what I want, which honestly, it's what I deserve. If he wants to drag it out, we'll see if he can get away with giving me less. His choice. He apparently is pretty good at making big decisions. Everyone keeps saying, oh, remember the good days together. You have to have some love for him still. Why? Why? He's betrayed her. No. LOL, no. Sure, I'm not a monster. I'm not going around telling everybody his deepest secrets and fears, but I'm also not going to go gently into the good night. I know this is Reddit, so people aren't going to be on my side of the cheater anyway. It's IRL that people don't see it as so black and white. So letting this off my chest to people that get it. People might think I'm bitter, and maybe I am, but no, you don't get to abandon me and go start a new life with some gym rat just because things got tough. Well, you do get to, but it's going to cost you. I don't care if he needs money for the baby. He can always make more. I can't get the last 20 years back. Edit, thank you all. I know this was mostly me needing validation, but it has been really validating compared to some of our real life friends. Now I go back to listening to currents and cleaning with all my spare time. Edit 2, okay, fine, I'll unblock them and just have exercise of self-control. First top rated comment is from first time commenter, and it says, get it, girl. Main rhubarb answers, hell yeah. Take what you deserve. Screw them all. They're not your problem. Ain't no way another bitch will enjoy the investment you put in this piece of shit just for him to go to someone else after succeeding. High five. Nico Fire says, I sincerely hope you obliterate that scary excuse for a husband. Go for blood and drain his cheating butt dry. Let's see him support his home wrecking trash fire of a baby mama when you wring him out like a dirty gym towel. Here's to his suffering, and you may pop champagne when it's over. And yeah, unblock him because you need more ammo. That's how they're treating you. Next, we have in-laws and is entitled Petty Revenge on My Mother-in-Law. My mill is a manipulator. Shocking, right? LOL. Well, I mean, it is, really, because they shouldn't be. At first, it drives me crazy, but it isn't worth the fights with my husband. Now I just observe and let her run wild, just to amuse myself so I don't go insane. My mill makes all kinds of passive-aggressive comments. This story is just one example. However, I finally got revenge after 10 years of taking her crap. Backstory. There hasn't been a single time in our marriage when my husband and I have been able to been late to a family dinner reservation. Yes, every time we attend dinner with mother-in-law, she makes a comment about tardiness, usually at my expense. Why? Who knows, but it's become a big issue to me to the point where I didn't go to family Christmas last year. Why? My birthday is also during Christmas. In-laws offered to take us to dinner. I didn't want to go. Husband was bummed, so I accepted. For him, I psyched myself up that day, thinking surely they wouldn't make the "you're late" comments on my birthday. I was right, they didn't. The waitress did it for them. Can't you be on time? To be honest. I sat down at the table, and the waitress came by and said, you made it on time. I immediately looked at my mother-in-law and said, yep, we're actually always on time. They're just old and they like to be 30 minutes early to everything. Thinking that would shut down the comments for good. Nope, flash forward to last week. So you're not late. Okay, that's a different story. Didn't tell us the time you want us to be there, and I will be there at that time. Probably a couple minutes earlier, to be honest. We went to family dinner at my nephew's birthday. It was storming, so I told my husband we should leave an hour early, even though the drive is typically 25 minutes. That way we would be first, and she wouldn't be able to say anything. My sweet husband is a moron, though, and told her we were leaving early for the weather. Not only did she beat us there, she told the rest of the family to leave early, and they all live 7 to 10 minutes away. So we arrive at 5:10 for a 5:30 reservation. Sure as crap, everyone is already seated. However, they didn't know I could see them, so like a two-way glass in the lobby between the entryway and the restaurant. My husband had dropped me off at the door because of the rain, so instead of walking inside, I stayed in the entryway on the bench and waited. As I was waiting, I could see her obsessively looking at the front doors. She got up and walked to the lobby, realized there were two-way mirrors, and started pressing her face against the glass so she could see outside. She looked insane doing it, and I loved every minute. Some of the glass panes were to the exterior on the other side where I was, were to the entryway where I was sitting on the bench. As soon as she made her way down the row of glass, I knew she would eventually see me. She did, but I didn't turn around. I just let her think I didn't notice. She jumped back a little as she saw me and kept looking straight ahead. Then she burst through the double doors as if she was going to run outside the parking lot. Being a terrible actor, she grabs the exterior handle and full on fake stops, turns around, and pretends to run into me. That moment, my husband was walking through the doors and she got all excited. I think I let her think she pulled off her weird window watching expo, like I normally ignore her behavior. Oh, the fan on the computer just went out, just stopped, and I'm like, what? The lack of noise. She shows up to the table, um, and told me where to sit. That way, my nephew could be next to my husband, and I would be at the other end across from her. I sat down with father-in-law. My father-in-law said, "You took long enough. Did you walk here?" To which I replied, "No, actually, we left an hour early so I could be here on time, just like every other time. Yet somehow there's always comments about us being late. What's up with that? Do you want us to get here at 5, then make the reservation for 5?" Table went silent. Mother-in-law goes, "It's just his way. He didn't mean anything by it." I said, "Well, it's usually you that make the comments, if I'm being honest." She goes, "Honey, you know I don't care when y'all get here. We're just so grateful you made it." I roll city. I replied, "Are you sure? Because I watched you press your face against every glass in the lobby, trying to spot us in the parking lot. Where you were going, where were you going when you headed outside? Did you need something from your car or what? Because you never went back, and I found that odd. I also found it strange that you saw me through the glass and pretended to run into me. What were you doing?" She said nothing in response and changes the subject. Then I ordered a glass of wine and stewed in my pettiness. I hope they never invite me anything ever again. Oh, they will. They will, and it'll probably be 3 times worse. Henri Post says, "OMG, I would just be late out of spite. She's crazy." I would too. I'd be like half an hour late to everything. OP says, "My husband is super OCD about being late. He would never let me. Wonder where he gets it from." Yeah, no kidding. Why did your husband not say, "I'm on time. I would never be late"? Why is your husband taking this? Lamberley says, "That's gold. No discipline is the third type right comment." And they say, "Great job. I was habitually late for everything. Certain things I was a little better, though. When my grandfather passed away, my mom told me to be at the wake at 3. I was 10 minutes early, not a soul in the parking lot. I waited outside until 3. Finally went inside. The only soul inside was my grandfather. He was not a soul, honey. Sorry about your grandfather, but there was not a soul inside." I got to put his favorite peanut butter in my great grandmother's teaspoon. They bickered all the time, jokingly, of course, and had many conversations with him. My mom showed up at 3:45. The wake started at 4. This has been a great family conversation piece at family meals. Cardinal says, "I used to add 30 minutes to my husband's departure time for important events. Then one day when we were driving to a wedding, he said, 'Wait, you're too calm. Did you lie to me about the start time again?' After that, the jig was up and he went back to being late. I've given up being responsible for him. I can't stand being late. How do you stand being late all the time? It's inconsiderate, first of all. And OP on this was not inconsiderate at all. She was not late. How dare her mother-in-law call her late when she was not late? Like, tell me what time you'll be there and I'll be there. Don't expect me earlier than that because you told me to be there at that time. But being late is completely disrespectful to other people's time. Hate it. Hate it. Next we have What Do I Do? And it's entitled, "This girl I was seeing for a few months misses me after I broke up with her." And there's text saying, "Miss me. Allie, were you sober when it was so sent?" She says, "No." There's also a missed call at midnight. "After 3 months, we mutually broke up and then tried again. Then, just as I put a stop to it, even though I did, it breaks my heart to do this to another person. We shared some really good moments, but toward the end, I realized that we were not a good match. We didn't have much in common. She would always start arguments like at least one every other week. That's it. I had her meet my friends and stuff, and now that we are broke up, she was like, why did you want me to meet your friends? Like, did you only want to show me off to them? There's nothing wrong with showing off your new girlfriend to your friends. Nothing wrong with them showing you off to their friends. That's a compliment to you. None of this was true in my eyes. I thought we were going to be labeled boyfriend and girlfriend. When we broke up, she spilled her guts, saying, I really, really like you. I put on a front and don't respond to your messages for a while because I think you're too good for me. Weird. But I feel like this is a guilt trip to try and get me back together. Honestly, in my eyes, I don't see us starting a family, and I don't want to hurt her even more, but I don't want to be friends with benefits. She actually proposed at some point, but I said no because it wouldn't be good for either of us. I don't know how to respond to this. I feel terrible because I'm the type of person that wants to provide uh, and please people. Say, stop texting me, stop drunk texting me, and stop drunk calling me. Physical pin says her message of no says reply. Did she say that with a confetti effect? Hope he says yes. Uh, Practical Dog says this is not a laughing manner, but respectfully, that's when he ain't funny. And Banana says it's funny AF. Oh, that was it. I don't know how who guessed that correctly. Neuron next door says you don't respond to it. Use your people pleasing tendencies as a compass. Whenever it anxiously tells you to do the opposite. C colon says this is great advice. Usually the harder option, but that's how you know it's the right thing to do. Exactly. Because the right thing to do is often the hardest thing to do. Charlie Grip, this is the third top rated comment. They say 30 years into my current relationship, a girl I chased in high school texted me and said, I should have chose you over ex-boyfriend's name. She asked me several times if we could hang out, and I had to tell her no. These things happen, and truthfully, you should take it as a compliment and move on. Just know you're doing something correct, and the next hero will be fortunate to have you. 100%. Next, we have entitled parents, entitled Parents Expect Me to Move Back in with Them after uni. So, not an American, because we don't call it that. Hi, everybody. I, 24 female, could really use some advice because I've been feeling stuck and anxious about my situation. I come from a very strict religious family with many siblings, and ever since I was young, my dream was to move out. In September 2025, I finally managed to do that because I started a 2-year master's program in another city about 2 hours away. Good for you. You go. It wasn't easy. A few months before I moved out, my younger sister ran away from home. She was gone on and off for a while, blocking contact and struggling financially. How old was your younger sister that she ran away from home? Was she under 18? And where you're at, is that 16? Because that can be 16 in some places. Well, I don't agree with how she handled it. I don't understand why she felt the need to give out the leave, given how strict her. I do understand why she felt the need to leave, given how strict her upbringing was. That situation made it even harder for me to move out, but I still went through with it. Good. It shouldn't have made it harder. I don't know why that would make it harder, but it's not my situation. So I've been living on my own for a few months, and overall, I'm much happier. But there are still some things that are bothering me. I go back to my parents' house a lot, at least once a week, once during the week, and basically every weekend. Stop doing that. It's become an expectation, not really a choice. So slowly cut back doing that. If I don't follow that pattern, my mom reacts very strongly. Okay. For example, I recently started staying at uni on Friday and planned to come back on Saturday. She blew up my phone and demanded I share my location. Ma'am, I am a 24-year-old woman. And you don't need my location. She often says how she can't wait for me to move back home after my master's and that she's just putting up with this for now. Absolutely not. Not going to happen, Mom. You need some counseling on how to deal with your parents. Problem is, I really don't want to move back. I know it would make me feel deeply unhappy, but I feel a lot of pressure and guilt, and I'm honestly scared of what will happen when my program ends. Lately, I've been caught thinking to myself that maybe I should find a husband before I graduate, so I have a valid reason to not move back. Don't use people like that. No, you need to stand on your own 2 feet, girl. You're a grown woman. You're a grown woman. You do not need a man to stand up for you. You need to stand up for yourself. Your university probably has counseling services available. Maybe you should make those available to yourself. Doesn't feel like a healthy or rational solution, but that's how trapped I feel. I'm struggling to enjoy my independence right now because I'm constantly anxious about the future. Has anyone been in a similar situation? How did you set boundaries with very strict parents without escalating it? Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to do the escalation. And how do you deal with the fear and guilt of choosing your own life? You shouldn't be dealing with any fear or guilt in choosing your own life. And if somebody is trying to make you feel that way, don't let them. I really appreciate any advice or perspective. Finding a husband quickly is the wrong answer. Finding a job and place to live if you can't stay where you already are and without roommates, and set your foot down with your parents. 1, I'm not moving back home. 2, I'm not coming home to visit every week or even every other weekend. 3, I'm also not going to allow you excess visits to my new place. Call when you want to visit and I'll let you know if I'm available. 4, any other limits you want to put on your parents. 5, if you can't live by my rules for my life, I'm going to have to cut you off contact with you, at least for a while, possibly permanently. And good luck. Medicated admin says, this is the right solution. OP, you will not fix your situation by appeasement. 100%. You'll only make it worse in the long run. Your only way out is independence, and that is only achieved by training, education, and a job. Don't expect anyone to come and save you, because that tends to happen is that you get a hero with whom you need saving from. The only person who can absolutely rely on this world is yourself. If anyone else comes along, it's a bonus, but you can rely on it happening. And the guilt you're feeling is from 2.5 decades of emotional conditioning. Only you can break the cycle. Bunny Slayer says, 6, I will no longer have a location sharing app on the phone that I pay for. Shouldn't have that anyway on the phone that you pay for. I mean, unless you want to. Fairy Goth Mommy says, don't share a location app ever. Do not go back every weekend. Find an apartment and live your life. You're an adult. Opie says, yes, I'm also very adamant about not sharing my location. Good. Kyoto says, you are 24. You don't need help listening to your parents anymore. Tell them clearly that you are no longer going to live with them again. If they know where you live, move somewhere else. That's an idea too. So she's not even financially dependent on them. Next we have, oh no, consequences. And it is entitled, yet another reviewer shows up past closing time expecting service and doesn't like the word no. This is from Entitled Reviews and closed 3 minutes ago at Little Caesars. Why do people do this? I have never in my 65 years on God's green earth been spoken to like this. I stopped by my Little Caesars last night after a church meeting. I heard somebody else read this already. I was famished. I saw the employees still closing down and thought, okay, a quick pizza before I go home. I walked up at 9:03 p.m. Yes, the sign says 9 o'clock, but it's 3 minutes, people. The ovens were clearly still hot, and a girl was right there counting the register. She's already closing out her register, and you would think you're going to get in. I figured surely slapping a pre-made pizza in a box isn't rocket science. Door was locked, but she saw me. I tapped on the glass, and I was totally polite. She cracked the door and said, we're closed, ma'am. I explained I just wanted a hot and ready pizza. I mean, that's the whole point of the place, right? Sure, during business hours it is. She rolled her eyes and said, we already threw them away. Thrown away at 9:03? I said, You're telling me you threw away perfectly good pizzas 3 minutes after closing? She shrugged like it was nothing. So reasonably, I said, well, can you just make one really quick? It's literally sauce, dough, and cheese. She was just standing there doing nothing. That's when she crossed the line. She said, if you're going to act like trash, you can go dig in the trash out back because that's where the pizza is now. And shut the door in my face. I have never been spoken to with such disrespect in my life. Little Caesars used to be about service. Apparently now it's about attitude. This is from Diana. Diana, we'll see you next Tuesday. And get your pizza then. Stinky Pete says, damn, that girl thought about her winging zinger for days. Might still remember it fondly from time to time. She cooked that night, not just pizza. Underground Flaw says, that's a great bar for sure, but no chance in hell she actually said it. I bet the boomer made that up. The lady's probably, sorry, ma'am, all the pizzas are in the trash out back, and Karen took it as an insult. Probably. Okay, Cheetah is the second top rated comment. They say, as someone in customer service, I am qualified to tell you there is a solid chance that the employee actually never said anything of the sort. Probably not. There's a good sized contingent of church going boomers that just flat out lie to get employees in trouble for saying no to them so they can get free stuff. Minty Caramely Hazel says, I still remember an awful interaction with a family in one of my jobs. My manager was witness from the afar and couldn't kick them out because I was faster than him. As we were chatting with the rest of the customers because they were that entitled that our regulars chimed in to crap on them, my manager received a call from the head office because the woman was calling them, complaining and lying about us, getting physically aggressive with her and her kids. My manager was like, no, that didn't happen. I was watching everything. They were extremely rude, not only with the staff, but with other customers, and I can send you ASAP the camera's recording. We looked at outside the restaurant. The woman read on the phone, looking at us like she won something. After my manager finished the call, we just waited to after she just left. I know in my heart it wasn't the only time that they did something like that. I hope it was the last. Babbling says, I'm choosing to believe satisfying in my imagination. Mildly infuriating, entitled The Way Kroger Treats Its Employees. That's bad. This is from the store manager. A doctor's note will no longer be accepted if you call off work. The only call-offs will be accepted are jury duty, death, immediate family member, leave of absence. You are admitted to the hospital. That's not cool. I don't like that. I don't want the employees to be sick when I'm there, getting me sick. And I think that's illegal in my state anyway. Pretty sure it is. From the store edit for some extra context, this was sent out by each store manager to all the employees of District 1 in the Ohio, Cincinnati, Dayton division. Potentially other districts as well, but I can only verify my own. I'm not going to give my specific store number for obvious reasons, but you can find each store on Google with that information. We are unionized by UFCW, already bad, by the way, and to my knowledge, they allowed this recent change. Kroger has no accrual for sick days like some had mentioned. Those who think this is rage bait, I don't think anyone has to fake a post to make $1 billion company look bad. They do it to themselves. Giraffes are so dumb says, I think this leads to worse, even dangerous experience for customers, as there will be more people spreading the disease if they can't call out sick. If you think so too, please contact Kroger using their public contact us page. They also have a feedback hotline, 800 Kroger's. The CEO's public work email address is gregforeign@kroger.com. Dr. Bitchcraft MD says, this is exactly where my brain goes. I'm not shopping at Kroger store full of coughing, sniffling people. I would definitely let the management know. Hot Obligation says, this is why I left my last job. I worked at a medical dispensary where every day we had at least one chemo patient come in to shop. New policy was we would get points if we called out sick. even if we were give proper notice and had accrued sick time and had a doctor's note. 3 or 4 points in a 6 month period was automatic termination. So you're telling me I have to choose between keeping my job or potentially being the reason a cancer patient brings COVID home and dies. Yeah, I lasted a month with the new policy. That's terrible. I would too. Leonidas Varwater says, this is just so insane to actually read something like this. It's so far beyond illegal in the Netherlands, it's ridiculous. When I call in sick, that's it. I don't need to give a reason. My employer can't ask what's wrong with me, and I certainly don't need a doctor's note. I like my job and I appreciate my employer, so when I'm sick, I genuinely keep them informed. I'm pretty honest with that stuff, which is appreciated, but I'm under no obligation to do so. Snailbot says, even in Asia where the stereotype is of overwork. Yeah, in Singapore, doctor's notes are required in most companies, but once you have one, your employer legally must let you take your time off. If an employer sends out anything like uh, MCs/doctor notes are no longer accepted for calling off work, it would be so blatantly illegal that you can report them to the Ministry of Manpower, and it would be all over the news for how stupid the company is. Buckeye says that America hates the working class and takes every opportunity to actively punish them for being poor. The hyper-capitalist ideology runs so deep here that workers have also been guilted and shamed out of standing up for themselves, have been browbeaten into submission by the mega corporations that employ them, and therefore just lie down and take it without a word of complaint. After all, it can't be sounding like a commie. Not wrong. Although in my state, they now can't do that to you because we made a law against it. We make them pay, make everybody pay for sick leave, and you're entitled to take it. Bedluck Guy says, my employer doesn't accept doctor's notes. All absences are unexcused. Yeah, we're adults. We don't need a doctor to tell me I shouldn't go to work if I have the flu. Wild that they prefer I come in and potentially affect everyone else. ETA, yes, this is actually legal in most U.S. states. Attendance is a very common reason to be fired in shift work jobs such as retail. Hockey Phoenician says, Langham, show up, cough, and look miserable. Be as customer visible as possible. Explain to customers why you're there. Bonus, if you throw up or defecate in front of customers. Super bonus if you pass out and hit your head. Sounds like an opportunity for payday to me. Not wrong. Next, we have Wayne U. Karen, and it's titled to the racist woman in line at Dallas Fort Worth International Airport on Friday. The line was so racially diverse because you were standing in the transfer line for international flights, you idiot. We could hear you ponder about why there were so many brown folks and so many of those people. We could hear your travel partner joke and not seeing color. I could see you side-eye everyone in the hijab and everyone speaking anything but English. I, an American, was 9 hours into my 13-hour travel day as I was flying back from Mexico, and you and I were both standing in the same line as travelers transferred from flights from Oaxaca, Guadalajara, Shanghai, Alexandria, and Sao Paulo. My Mexican American spouse and I were exhausted. I'm so glad that you, big blonde haired, spray tan metallic pink shirt wearing boomer, with your Texas driver's license in your hand, were presumably flying out of Texas. I hope whenever you land, you're learning to be less of an outspoken racist idiot. Anastasia's a top rate comment says, I hate a-holes like that. Why can't people keep their nasty racist thoughts to themselves in their heads? I don't know. Why can't they? Seeker of Sanity says they don't have to anymore. I think there was an executive order or something. They're not wrong either. Magpie says they used to. I wonder what changed. Rhetorical question. We all know what changed. Yeah. Somebody gave them permission to just be out a-holes. Racist people. Just be racist all the time out in public. Pissed Liberal Granny says you can see them in the shopping malls. 5-foot girl, 6 feet tall, 4-inch heels, fake fingernails. She's checking all the sales. You can see it from her face. She's a determined girl getting ready to take on the world. Gonna torture my hair, gonna burn it blonde. Gonna tease it beyond repair. Gonna camouflage the brains in there. I'm getting my own big bar hair. Yeah, I'm getting my own big bar hair. What beautiful prose for that stinking Texas rose from a thing called Loves with River Phoenix, his last movie. It isn't prose, it's verse. Foot Dragon says you've learned me up. Third temporary comment it says, I applaud you your use of controlled rage-filled language. Mine would have been a couple more stars. Next, we have Best of Redditor updates and entitled New Update 1 year later, AITA for saying I would stay at my mom's if I had to share a room with babies. Originally, am I the a-hole? Original post, July 20th, 2023. I-16 female. My parents split up before I was born. Custody is I live with my dad most of the time, my mom every other weekend. Plus random staying with her if I want. Recently, my dad got engaged to Hannah. She and her kids are moving in. Hannah's kids' age are 7, 2, 2, and 2. Why does she have 3 2-year-olds? That's wild. Triplets? Are you kidding me? Oh, that sounds like a nightmare for a 16-year-old. She's widowed, so they live with her full time. This made room arrangements a bit awkward since there's only 3 kids' bedrooms to go around. Dad and Hannah talked it over last night without consulting anyone, and Hannah came over this morning to announce with my dad that they are decided. Apparently, they want 9 and 7 to each have their own rooms, and to me to share a room with the triplets, because my room is significantly bigger than the others, and I won't stay there full time. No. A 16-year-old having to share a room with 3 2-year-olds? Are you kidding me right now? I said their plan was stupid. They want me to share with 3 toddlers. Why can't the 9 and 7-year-old share a room and she gets her own room like a normal person? They said they didn't want me to move, but it was the biggest room so other people could share. I said I didn't care if I switched rooms because the more logical move would have been the 3 triplets in the big room, 7 and 9 share, and I get my own room. I said I'd take the smallest one until I move out. And they said it would be more work to move my things to another room. What? No. And their idea was more practical. No, they don't. They just want her to take care of the kids in the middle of the night. That's what it is. I asked them why I was so pressed since I don't even live there full time. I said not staying in the room for 4 days a month was a sorry excuse to land me with a bunch of toddlers. And they seriously planned on doing it to me. I'd make the cut with my mom for the most part. I know she doesn't mind because both of them remind me I could stay with her whenever I wanted. This made Hannah cry because she just wants her family to blend together nicely, and apparently I was ruining her plans. Well, your plans were dumb, so adjust your plans, lady. I'm not allowed to talk to Hannah until she forgives me. Oh, please. Okay, this is not mature adult behavior. The 16-year-old is more mature than these parents. I don't know if what this meant so much to them, but I would still say this day say I'm still saying I'll stay with my mom longer if I have to share with toddlers. But my dad made me feel guilty. So AITA. No, absolutely not. You should have your own room. You're a 16-year-old girl, and you should have your own room. The 7 and 9-year-olds can share until you move out. Update 1. I'm at my mom's house at least for the weekend while the adults try to work things out, but my mom said I was welcome to live with her full time. If I really wanted, we could change the custody arrangement. Also, thank you for all the replies. I really wasn't expecting this to blow up as much as I did. Verdict, not the a-hole. OOP did not leave any comments. Top comments. Commenter number 1. NTA, they know what they are doing to you. They only act like they don't. You sharing with the triplets makes you care for them in the night as soon as their bedtime begins. Exactly, that's what I said. And how is she supposed to study with little kids sleeping in there? She needs to study. She got exams coming up. She got things to do on the internet. Oh, it's just stupid. It's not practical at all. Where should you hang out between there and your bedtime? Living room with them? I would assume Hannah wants you to leave you and your dad either wants you to babysit or simply doesn't actually care if you are there. But do you want to call you the bad guy? Commenter number 2, NTA. Hannah thinks the best way for her family to bend together nicely is to instantly make her stepdaughter the free babysitter for her 3 toddlers. Dang, like, at least this evil stepmother waited until Cinderella's father died and did not make her a free maid instantly. Also, your dad kind of sucks. Who in their right mind would want to share a room with 3 toddlers, let alone someone that's almost an adult? He's favoritizing his stepkids over his bio daughter to keep Hannah happy, and he's willing to make you sacrifice things like your privacy. Update number 2, July 23rd, 2023, 3 days later. Update number 2, because somehow I'm still getting responses to this. Everyone talked, but my dad and Hannah are staying with their decision, so I've decided to move in with my mom's long term. And we're going to switch the custody around. So I'll only see my dad every other weekend. And I'm just going to sleep on the couch where I'm here. Obviously, nothing is settled yet, but that's what we're going to do. Thanks, everyone, for being so nice. New update. Editor's note. The next update is over 1.5 years old and has not been posted here onto the sub. Update number 3, August 2024, over 1 year later from the previous update. Update 1 year later. I still get messages here. I found this account again, so I thought I'd update to see who sees this. I still live with my mom and I love it here. Hannah openly dislikes me, so I don't even stay for the weekends anymore at my dad's. We call sometimes, but that's it. Hannah's kids are fine, but I only see them on holidays. Also, Hannah's pregnant again, and 7 and 9, now 8 and 10, are going to share a room, so I guess it wasn't too much to work in the first place. She just hated me. Poor kid. Inevitable Care says, I can't stand anyone marrying someone who hates my kid, and I hope I never do. I shouldn't. Why would you? Marry me, you marry my kids. That's it. If you don't like my kids, you don't like me. And I'm including all 6 of them. Lady Loki says, as a stepmom, I can't imagine marrying someone whose kid I didn't like. Latte Lady says, same seas. My stepkids are the children of my heart. Oh, that's so sweet. It's so nice. Captain Delicious Pants is the second top rated comment, and they say they clearly didn't actually want OOP around and didn't have the balls to just say so. The wild part is that they really doesn't make them look any less crappy than if they just had been honest, right? Nightmare Gerbil says, yeah, saying OOP isn't allowed to speak to Hannah unless Hannah decides to give her. That's just Hannah assuring that OOP leaves and never comes back. Yeah, that's just weird. Billy from Philly is the third top rated comment, and he says, I've seen things like this with a friend of mine. He's divorced with 2 teenage kids. New girlfriend has 4 kids, and it's her house. He wants them there, but there's no room for his kids. Not a big house, so that kind of makes sense. However, she tells him that he shouldn't be supporting his kids anymore because they're almost adults, but only 1 out of 4 of her kids is a minor, and her brother and his girlfriend live in the basement. Nobody pays rent. Anytime he's out with his kids, she calls all the time to disrupt his day. He won't leave because he's afraid to be alone. It's sad. That's ridiculous. Okay. Next we have Made Me Smile, and it's Turkey Rise or Rize, Rize. The cat visits the market almost every single day just to hug the cashier. I love that. Okay, we're getting cat tax. I forgot to share. I'm an idiot. Okay, there we go. Now I have cat. And the Kit Kat. Oh, sweet. I love it. So sweet. I'll probably get tagged for the music. Every day. Take the Kit Kat home. Clearly loves you. Take Kit Kat home. All right, that's it for the day. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. Have a good day. Love you all. Bye, biddies. Take care. Behave. Love you. Bye.